If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on this truly thankful Thursday as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. There's going to be some open line. We're hoping to be able to welcome equally to the studio the excellent company of Mr. Sean Notch, Eric Smith, the one and only, and hopefully, Miss Katina Anglin will be able to be in, even if it's only remotely, with our great insight and intellect, equally as we inspire and encourage all of us to share our thoughts and really make the most of this excellent opportunity that we have in this truly beautiful democracy that we call the Cayman Islands. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining us. 949-8037, 949-6990, or 1-800-534-8255. Do me a favor, please. If you can hear me, give me a shout, because I can't hear what is happening in this headset. Paul, is it me or is it you? Is it Monday or is it Dean? Is it my imagination or is this really what's going on? All right, well, you know what? They say in all things, give thanks. What they say, make hay while the sun shines. Strike the hammer while the iron is hot. I don't know, man. What do they say? But what do you do? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Or send us a WhatsApp, 925-3261. Had a very interesting conversation this week that continued earlier with some people in relation to the pace of development. Now, I don't know whether it's just coincidence, whether it is, as someone said to me a long time ago, and then again recently, I heard it from someone else in a different way. And neither, I think, can be repeated in a vein that would capture how it was shared. But my impression and interpretation, it's as if, let me use the word, the universe puts things out there and is floating about, and then people pick up on it, and it gets into their mindset, and then they formulate it into a thought and into words, and then they share it. And you wonder, how do you interpret and handle that? Well, I want to share. It's in relation to development and the whole process. But let's go to our phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dwayne. How are you today?
My friend, I am truly blessed, excellent, very thankful, and honestly, I look at life and I try hard to find ways to be not just gracious, not just humble, but maybe helpful. So how are you, sir?
Good to hear that. Well, I good. My age, I done past 7. And good, but a sad. What's going on in the country?
Okay.
I call it a country because we are known now, but on my island, where I born and raised. And I think I'm a Caymanian. I born right in Georgetown. But, Brother Sterling, and you know everything I telling you is true. You know this because you're part of it. You're part of Cayman. You're born here yourself. That's true, nah? You born West Bay, nah?
Yeah.
Geez, I didn't remember that. I thought you were born in Cayman, but you're born in the Republic.
Listen. I not only born there and it's on my birth certificate. So apparently I got to apply for Cayman status because I just got West Bay status.
Yeah, well, I know that. I heard that too. That's good. But
No, man, no.
that's good. Brother Sterling,
Yes,
we are
sir.
blessed in Cayman Island. We are blessed. People coming here calling it paradise. I agree with them because where they coming from, not like here. Because if it were really coming from like here, then they wouldn't come here. So I agree with them. This is paradise. But for me and you, this not paradise no more because
Why not?
there's too much things happening. Too many things happening that not supposed to happen. We didn't grow up that way. We didn't grow up that way. Sterling, from time my father was alive, he used to tell me that the Caymanian people are not united, and it's true. We are not united. We get together and we talk a lot, but when it comes to action, one person can talk, one person can act, and that's the person that started talking. But everybody want to talk, and everybody agree, but when it comes to action, everybody back. So there are more excuses. That's why we're not united. That's why we're not getting on. And we are our worst enemy. Caymanians are jealous of each other. I don't know why. I try to figure it out, stay every day and understand it, but I can't. Other nationalities, they're together. You see the people that come from Jamaica, they're united. People from the Philippines, they're united.
Well, let me ask of you then. Let me ask you because
Yeah.
I like what you're sharing in terms of if we were to interpret it, say, hey, as a people, let's unite, let's come together, work together, and the like. But before I ask you to revisit some of the earlier comments, let me just pick up on the last thing you said. The different nationalities that come here, when they get here, there's a sense of united approach to helping each other and the like. Is that in your mind because that's how they're like back in their own countries, or is it because they're here and that's how well they need to be in order to survive, to get ahead? To what do you think? Are they united back home? They have that same.
Well, it could be 6.5, doesn't know that. I really don't know that part. But for people, for us, and this island so small, and knowing that our Christian heritage where we grew up from, what we're doing, Brother Sterling, the wealthy people are oppressing the poorer class of people. Let me tell you a little story, and you know this too. This happened in West Bay too. When I was a young boy, the fisherman used to cross my mother's house, and she would call his name. Hey, Harold, what you got there? You got a bunch of yellowtail. And he would look up in her tree. Oh, you got 2 breadfruit. He gave her a fish, and she gave him a breadfruit, and that's the answer. Food is on the table. No remorse with nobody. Nowadays, we don't want even give each other water.
All right. But okay, and that's a question. Unfortunately, we haven't even asked sufficiently. But looking at it from that perspective, the fact that we are probably out running at such a fast pace that we can't even catch our breath. All right. What is it then that we are missing, and how can we address it so that the unity isn't just amongst the Caymanians or the different populations of people from the different nations, but as a country, all in sunder, we come together as one because we see the benefit of maintaining social harmony, economic and political stability, that quality of life that we seek, that happiness index that we would aspire to, as opposed to what potentially could happen where this little pocket is getting ahead at the expense of this pocket, and everybody is, only looking out for themselves.
Well, Sterling, the part is, it's all about me. I live and you die. That's it. And that coming straight down from the wealthy, the politicians, everybody. I remember when I was small, I used to go and cut somebody's yard with a machete. Those days, they didn't have no grass cutter. Sometimes one person, maybe probably, I remember Mr. Rex Rayton had one little one you used to push with your hand. But nobody's had a grass cutter. And in Georgetown, I was the one with the machete. I was better than the grass cutter. You understand? I grew up hard because my father died when I was 13. And I became a man working on them docks. But what I am seeing here happening now, Because I was telling my son yesterday, I said, glad I can't work no more. I would like to work, but I can't for my circumstances and my age. But the part with that, we need to help each other. But the Caymanians are helping the foreign people. I'm talking about the wealthy people, the government. Things, Mr. Sterling, is happening in this island. Is plenty corruption.
But if it is,
Mr. Sterling, make a finish. Plenty corruption in this island, and the politicians know what is going on, and they turn a blind eye. Although the corruption is hitting me, hitting you as a lower class person, and the higher class person that is a Caymanian like myself, they don't care as long as they get by.
Well, let me ask then.
The companies can do anything they want, and they are supported with government. I don't see where the government is helping the poorer class people in Cayman. I don't see it nowhere about. So I don't know if you can tell me.
Well, let me ask then.
Being helped.
Yeah, let me pick up on a couple of things then. The corruption, as you allege, if it's happening and the politicians, as you share, know about it, what about the rest of us? As voters, as ordinary citizens, do we not know about it too?
Yeah, but we can't do nothing about it.
Why not?
We don't have no power.
Why not?
No power, Sterling.
But I mean,
Power
if
makes the world go wrong,
if
power.
it is as rampant as people allege, and we're sitting down saying, well, boy, I can't do nothing about it, aren't we partly responsible for it continuing? Some would even say probably more so. But what do you think?
In the Bible, they had plenty riots. In the Bible, if you read the Bible real good, they have plenty. You know why? We don't want to start other countries to get the attention of the government and get things done. They have riots that the other parts of the world can see what's going on, and they get attention and they get the job done. But we don't want to have no riot because you know why? We are a God-fearing nation. We are a Christian nation. So we can just stay and make
Okay. But did not Jesus go into the temple, looked at a bunch of people and said, okay, I want to carry on with 2 shoes and a good right hand? And I mean, he didn't go in there on his knees saying, oh, boy, try behave now. I mean, he went there and slapped a couple people.
Well, you're saying the same thing I say.
But what I'm asking you is if you say we're a Christian nation, if we say we don't like evil and sin and corruption and all those kind of immoral, illegal activities, but we're sitting with our 2 fingers in our eyes and our thumbs in our ears and whatever else, how do you expect anything to get better?
So you give me the answer then, because I not got the answer. You give me the answer, but
I'm asking you the question, man.
When we vote them, the same anybody we vote, they're gonna do the same thing. Some that we vote will probably have good intention for their fellow man, but once they get along with the other ones that don't have no good intention for his fellow man, he got turned just like him.
All right, let me ask you, right? In the studio, Notch joining me, right? He's a much better, he probably is a little bit better singer than me, I'm not sure. But there's a song where I am not a man with a wicked intention. How do I go? Eh?
Chalice.
How do I go, Notch?
How you doing, Judge? Chalice. Bad tune for real.
Yeah.
We have to look into ourselves, as Michael Jackson says. It's about the man in the mirror. That's the answer you're looking for. George, like for instance, we had the Music Association's meeting on Sunday. And, like I didn't see you there. But I'm not saying that you're guilty or culpable for anything. I'm just saying that we need to, when it's our time to gather, we need to gather. When the call, just hear me out. Just hear me out. No, just hear me out. Because I go into the Bible. When the call was made for the walls of Jericho to come down, one man didn't show up to walk around it, All of Israel had to come and take part. And that's what it's about. We're fragmented. Our society, we have been infiltrated. We have been, divided up. Everybody has ulterior motives now, People is friends with this one and the next one, so they keep the corruption down. And they don't say nothing about it. And then the people who are actually trying to get something done, all of a sudden we victimize them and we allow them to be brutalized, but they're speaking up for us and they're looking better for us, and we don't defend them. We sit back and we act like, well, that's his problem or that's her problem.
I agree with you 100%, sir.
Yes, sir.
I had good intentions to attend that meeting. Number one, I was sick for 3 days. I couldn't get out of
my
bed.
apologies, sir.
And
I hope you're feeling better. But I just decided to throw that in there because.
But if you speak to Mr. Miles, he would have told you what I said, Mr. Adley.
Well, and my apologies if you were one of the official apologies. I didn't see it there, but no problem. And I don't hold you up for that, George. You know that I love you. I love all musicians. I try to get along with everybody. I mean, just the other day you were given an award for being a member of which band it was used to play in originally, Humble in the Meat?
Many bands.
Well, you used to play with
the Tornadoes.
Tornadoes is who you got the award for.
Lamplighters, Freddie Jackson and the Lamplighters. That was before you were born. I played.
Freddie Jackson and the Lamplighters. I didn't heard of them. So, I mean, and that goes to show something else, is that we have so much positive that we need to build on. We can't let these other things destroy it, like corruption, because we've been working hard down there for a long time, It's a shame that we don't get the credit for the work that we've put in.
Right. My topic to Dwayne was corruption. We got plenty of corruption, and the Caymanians do unite together. They do not unite together, but I like the part that you just said about the Bible. Exactly. No, not one man walked on the wall of Jericho. They were united together.
And they wasn't complaining.
Stuff done.
They wasn't complaining, the dust in my eyes, the sun in my face, look, my shoes broke, my shoes tore, and as many excuses, but I do feel good today. And, well, the man just came and walked around Jericho. It seemed aimless. Until they got the order. Shout and tear it down.
Well, listen, let me ask you this, right, as we go to the break. Act of omission and act of commission. Sometimes, they're one and the same, As you go to the break, anything final, Mr. Shadat, do you want to share, sir?
Yeah, I want the Caymanian people are hearing me today to unite together. We are divided bad because of corruption, where the people come in and want to take over, and they friend us and they beat us so much that they want you, like how they had the slaves. Once you say what they want you to say, you're their friend, and not. But your own people doing it to you.
And then the slaves help them to beat us too.
Your own people. Yes.
They bought into the brainwashing, and then they start to help them.
Right. Your own people. So, it's bad, but we need help. The government need to help the Caymanian people, man.
Yeah, commission and omission.
Put them in.
Omission and commission.
Yeah, man. All right, Mr. Shalat. Listen, thank you for that. Not quick, short break. Couple of calls on the line.
No problem.
Let's have some fun. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Preventing dengue is as simple as preventing mosquito bites. Use a mosquito repellent, wear protective clothing, and stay indoors during early dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Control the places around you where mosquitoes breed. Remove stagnant water in outdoor and household settings. As a weekly habit, persons should change the water in vases, clear the water in saucers under potted plants, and ensure air conditioner drip trays are free of stagnant water. Outdoor objects capable of holding water should be kept empty and preferably disposed of or put into dry storage if not used. These include open bottles and tins, watering cans, buckets, empty paint tins, and old vehicle tires. Do your part to control the spread of dengue. The dengue virus is an infectious disease transmitted through mosquito bites. Symptoms may come on as early as 4 days or as late as 3 weeks following an infection. There is no vaccine or specific medication to treat dengue. Symptoms of dengue include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, and rash. If persons have any of these symptoms, they should go to the nearest health center or hospital. It is advised to drink lots of liquids and avoid medication that contains aspirin.
Talk Today. but I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's next Thursday afternoon. We get a chance to engage you. Notch is gonna share, a few things with us, including, you might know him, you might think he just handsome, got good hair, but the man got a solid brain as well. So we're gonna get a chance to tap into that. But before we ask you to weigh in, we got a couple of callers join us.
Please.
Let's just, engage the public in the populace and then.
I'm here at your service, my brother. I'm here at your service.
Sir, with the pleasure of the governor. Let's go to the phones.
Watch that one.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Afternoon, ma'am. How are you today?
Very tight and highly blessed. And if I had written out Brother George's business that he talks about, no, if I had read it, you see what happened with me now? I don't have to read it, I don't have to write it either. My computer, as you know, Sterling, is up in my head.
There you go, ma'am. There you go.
And because I'm not forgetting you here. Listen good to me now. About this corruption word.
Yeah.
Sterling, you remember the word you had, corrupted?
Yes, ma'am.
Some shows ago, you said corrupt. And look here, it is thicker than sun. It's not even miscreants no more, And not sunflies either. But listen, I got to give one of my experience again now, and I want people to listen to me, because up to yesterday, up at that HSA, right, hospital, Listen to me. What I should have been told from early last month, that I should have done to get back up at that. Son, do you remember that I was talking about where I had to put a man he plays at Health City last month? Okay, that same time, then I had to pay to see the doctor that I needed to see. Right? All because at the HSA, they didn't tell me that I could get a referral from over general practice. Hearing me?
Listen.
And another thing is this now. I only learned that after I went to the manager of the pharmacy. Sterling, you have him on the show player, and I called him Mr. Collins.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? He was sad. He was sad in his eyes. Listening to me. Feeling it for me. Because now, they must have realized that I get my government assistance, you know what I'm saying? And it gone up to $850. But I had to say it before to people in public, I don't put mine on fingernails and on hair, on shoes and bags that match your clothes. I put it on what they give it to you for, and that is to use it for when you need it. So now, another thing about the pharmacy now, if the lady that was taking care of my, I can say it right now, warfarin medication, I've been on that from last year, March. Want to hear me?
Yeah, baby.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I know what it's for, right? It's when your blood is too thick.
Warfarin.
Right? Yeah, the warfarin. When your blood is too thick, when you consume too much of the special K, of the vitamin K, all them green vegetables, all them green leafy vegetables, they're loaded with the vitamin K. And I was actually living on them because that's my food. Honestly, I'm not into no part of meat. Well, actually, I don't eat red meat for I don't know how long now. Because I have learned that it's bad for arthritis. If you eat one mouthful, you can get pains later. I've been telling doctors that for a long time, and they kind of doubt me. As if they doubt me, I'm going to try it on myself. I may have pains and don't know what kind of pains I'm having. But you take one mouthful or a good mouthful of red meat, and they can tell me that they feel it afterwards. I say, okay then. So here in the back, so back now about yesterday. There was some elderly Caymanian men that could tell me that they heard me on the radio. Because I was talking, you see, and they say I sound the same way on the radio as I sound the same way on the radio as I see him out in the public. So I had to ask when I say what happened now. You think I'm making sense? I talking sense? You say, yes, you talking a lot of sense. But you know what happened? And I stopped them there. I say, you know what happened? A lot of people say it to me. I have to be careful. I need to be careful of what I be saying. So the man looked in my face and I said, yeah, they asked to tell me that. But I said to them, I said, listen, I put my hand up. I said, if he, meaning the good Lord, if he wanted me to be that I couldn't talk, he would have did that. And I'm going to talk, especially when I have my own experiences. Another thing, Sterling, do you remember when I used to first call into the talk show that I used to say I was calling on behalf of the elderly?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hello. They're still telling me I must call in about certain things. Understand? About certain things. But when it comes to me personally now, I can ring it out there.
Yep.
Whatlessness going on up. Whatlessness. Kimanian West there now. Whatlessness is going on now in that person more than ever. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Well, you know what?
No, listen, no, sorry, don't go yet. Let me hold on to this, you know. I might forget it tomorrow.
Go right ahead.
Listen to me. I tell them it when they see me take a little pause. It is not Alzheimer's. I say all, you know. It's not Alzheimer's, but I say Alzheimer's. I don't have none of that. I reviewed that a long time.
Amen, yeah.
Okay? So make me talk. So here, you know, back about it, when I get to the pharmacy, the manager of the pharmacy, I was sent upstairs and everything to the referral office, you know. But the lady now at the pharmacy downstairs, who is responsible for giving me my results every time I get a blood test at home, okay? She can tell me they have that same specialist there now at the HSA. I say, I'm not going to who don't know me. I can go to who know me. And then, but instead of her saying to me, she should have said to me, I could have got a referral for over general practice. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they, I don't know what to do. But these are Caymanians, you know. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes,
these are not Caymanians. And look, I'm going to call kind of hot now. I'll go now.
Okay.
All the best to honor and all the best. I still listen to the voice because they know it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right.
I could say more, but I can hold it for another time.
Another time. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Have a good one.
God bless. All right. Let's take one more call at least. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Sorry, good afternoon, Rambo.
Hey, Rambo. What's happening, man?
Right, good afternoon, guys.
Rambo.
Yeah. Starting differently, right? I'll be fast this afternoon, right? Like last week, I called you, right? I tell you, I didn't respond to nobody, I obligate nobody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who discredit me, what I seen, and I care about them. Is that where I come from? Especially when the end of physical form, right? Well, here what I say now, my endearment, and especially this afternoon, it's supplanted my communication, right? So let me talk fast now. You see the EU crisis going on, right, with the blacklist,
mm-hmm.
right? Our consortium, financial institution, joint venture, right? We got out stringent, right? But you see, all said that UK left the union. They don't own English language, right? They have the optimum position at the time, right? So that played the article role, a vast language, is what I'm saying. So obviously, like I said earlier on, Sterling, you guess, right? No more render me now, right? Motionless mess, right? Or the terror, right? Or nothing backflash ricochet me. You just come from. Like I said, what we call about today, you know, this herb argument, right? For years and decades, right? We came aside there. We always right embellish, prejudge, condemn a specific stereotype or caliber or class, right? Them days gone, Sterling, you guess. The long haul that will over you, despite the style they making, or the color, the complexion, right? That well overdue, that are gone, right? What would demeanor, character and stuff, all that gone. And finally, Sterling, you see, May 2009 general election, you had a choice to vote for the Constitution. I boycotted that now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Constitution vote because I wasn't fully intact going on at the time.
Yeah.
And the thing with Mr. Bush, now when they called last week, I kind of bring right? I kind of calculate what kind of brand going through, right? Mm-hmm. The amateur, and I care about what I'm saying, he do the right thing. See?
Mm-hmm.
He do the right thing. Yeah, that's the aspect of it. Okay, so cool.
Listen, before you go, if I could just clarify something, right? Just for historical record, when it came to the May vote Was it May? When we did the Constitution in 2009.
09, yeah.
Yeah. You had a choice to vote or not vote for the Constitution. Just for you personally, did you go in to vote for it, or you just bypassed that booth and didn't vote at all?
No, I vote for my you to the election. Right?
Yeah, you voted for the election, but then you had to go to.
I think he said he didn't vote for the Constitution.
Yeah. And then you had to go to a separate booth for the Constitution.
Yeah, you see there were two agents that know me.
Right.
If you want to vote for the Constitution, I say, not today. I stammering, not today.
Right.
You tell them? Yeah, because I tell them, I know full informed.
Right. Okay.
My Jamaican girlfriend at the time, right? She go on and she left that and she was like, we know me.
Okay.
I showed her what time it is.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and if you wouldn't, sorry, I don't want to belabor it, but I just want to, because maybe later I'll ask Sean to kind of weigh in, right? I know it's with 2009. You did not go into that booth to vote. Can I ask you respectfully, is that because, well, sorry, no, not because. In your mind then, by not going into that booth to vote A or B, yes or no, did you think that by not voting, you were voting for the Constitution, or by not voting, you weren't actually voting at all? How did you determine that? You weren't informed, fair enough, but, you said, listen, I'm not informed, I'm not going to vote. So by not voting, do you think that you were participating?
Like I say, alone, I got to my work correctly.
Yeah, man,
yeah. Anyway, I might call it not Constitution, because at the time, right, I was going different establishments.
Right.
Certain lawyers.
Yeah.
They was in full form going on with the Constitution.
Fair enough.
I'm going by the pipeline in my aspect point of view of it.
Okay.
So I'm from.
Can I reword it? I don't mean to. The reason why is because, strangely enough, right, and it's partly, I respectfully say this, it's partly because of the recent discussion or debate relative to the referendum, why this now has come up, but it's after the fact. In that vote for the Constitution, you had to vote either yes for it or no for it. But Mr. Not you tell me, but fill in that but.
But. No, but for, yeah, Ram, I think where we're going with this, right, is that regardless of whether you voted or not, your vote counted for the side that went,
yes, let's approve it.
Yes, let's approve it.
Yeah. By not voting for it, voting no against it.
Your silence was approval.
Yeah. So you either voted yes for it or stayed away, and they both counted it's yes, let's approve it, or you voted no. And the reason why I'm asking you is that I won't name names, but I can tell you the amount of people like you who hold all kinds of positions, who are people that we like you, say, boy, these are good people. They know what's going on. They know the time.
A diverse cross section of Caymanians.
They're wearing a watch, and they thought, listen, if I don't go in there to vote yes or no, that means that I'm not participating in that sense. Only to find out after the fact that a yes vote and a staying away vote equal one and the same. That's what you thought too, right?
Yeah, I know too. I know.
Yeah. See.
So on top, yeah, yeah,
man.
I was watching it. It's came on to us live, right? With the family life center, with the Constitution, right? I should be compass and look at that too, right? And use a comparison, right? My vocabulary, right? I read a lot, right? And but like I said, it's turning at the time, my girlfriend at the time, right? She come out to Jamaica now, right? And at the time now, her likes go different establishments. Certain lawyers talking about it, and the lawyers and the kids, they were in a conundrum, a puzzle. They don't know what to do.
Yeah,
she still come from, and look at me, I in the construction, and say, man,
you can follow the advice.
Yeah, look at what we're going to put, and actually not applicable. But I say no, because they know me, the agents. I say I know for it.
Yeah, man.
That was straight up, right? Because someone will me outside. That's it.
Yeah, man.
Straight up. All right.
Listen, thank you very much, man. Continue sharing with us, everything that you learn, man. Enjoy your afternoon. All right, cool. Listen, that bald head fellow over there isn't a reflection of me, but boy, his hair is much better shape anyway. He said we got to take a break.
No problem.
You sure? I thought we just keep talking, man. All right.
I'm good.
We got to take a break. When we come back, you can be here till about 5. I got to leave early now, but you can stay. All right. Taking your calls, and we can share it. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
ValueMed Pharmacy is your community care partner for health and wellness needs. We offer convenient prescription processing at the counter and online at value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com, with pickup available at the Walkers Road or Boddentown location. We also accept transfer prescriptions from other pharmacies. More than just a pharmacy, shop ValueMed for personal care and beauty products from trusted brands, perfume and gift sets, Hallmark and greeting cards, baby clothes, footwear, handbags, swimwear, home decor, toys, school supplies, and stationery. And home convalescence aids like wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, and hospital beds. With 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and in Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit ValueMed, more than just a pharmacy.
On Thursday at 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman, you can hear a repeat broadcast of the CI Retro Talk Today presentation, which aired on Friday, February the 29th, when we bring you the second in the 3-program series on the path to the Cayman Islands' first constitution in 1959, Cayman Islands politics and governance. This program will focus on the origins and development of political parties in the Cayman Islands and is being brought to you by Parsons Air Conditioning, Refrigeration and Appliances in West Bay. Parsons is presently having a big value blowout sale on refrigerants. You can get a 25-pound cylinder of 410A or 417A refrigerant for $80. The R134A 12-ounce can is going for $8. Call Parsons Air Conditioning and Refrigeration at 949-3945 for all of your air conditioning, refrigeration, and appliance needs. That's CI Retro Talk Today, Thursday at 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman News.
Cabinet approves travel restrictions for those who've recently traveled to China.
Speaker of the House, the Honorable McKeeva Bush, broke his silence about an alleged assault.
The premier stated, quote, "The most important immediate issue is for the speaker to seek the treatment that he references in his statement."
The EU blacklisting of Cayman, which, is hugely disappointing.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Hi. I am Dr. Lee, Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health. The Ministry and the Department of Public Health, along with our partners, are working hard to help protect residents from the novel coronavirus. Did you know the best way to help prevent infection is to avoid being exposed? So please, wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use an alcohol-based sanitizer. Cover your noses and mouths when coughing or sneezing. And as best as possible, keep a good distance or avoid contact with anyone with symptoms of a respiratory infection. To read more about the public health's updates, please visit hsa.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today, 949-8837, 949-6990. And if you like, we're happy, always grateful that Flo, sometimes I still go back and call him Cape Wireless. I don't mean anything by that. Maybe it just shows that I'm not as young as I look, huh?
Sometimes even cable and wireless.
No, I haven't done that yet.
I used to do it. So
you used to do it?
I still, yeah.
You still do that?
I'm
but you for no response, so you can be forgive you.
Yeah. We didn't mean nothing by it. We love CNW.
Not joins us. We're going to talk about a lot of things, including, Music and Entertainment Association. Phone lines are open for people who want to share their thoughts. But thank you for coming over and having a chat. And the arts in and of itself, generally speaking, I think I believe a society needs to not just embrace it, but they need to champion artistic expression. Those who decide that they want to hide under that guise need to be equally responsible of the rights and responsibilities that they have, right? But it's a way to comment on society. There's a way sometimes to maybe even potentially, project what could transpire. Mm-hmm. Go back to science fiction novels, for instance, and you read some of the things, and you think, wow, flying cars and, what is today now teleportation, and they've been written in the 1800s, or you look at in vitro fertilization, or you look at genetically engineered children. I mean, I can think of a particular English author, and I thought, I never enjoyed reading that stuff.
Yeah.
I still don't. But it doesn't mean that there isn't some sort of creative license and the like, and maybe it inspires other things. But that's just in writing. What about in song?
I'm convinced that it actually is influential.
Well, I think so.
Absolutely. There's no way of escaping it, you know?
Yeah. But it's even more than just potentially me. Some would say, on one hand, somebody having an idea and they expound on it because they see this creative license, they see it as a freedom of expression, and they can just put it under the guise of a novel or fiction or what have you, right?
Yeah.
And then that may inspire somebody else to say, hey, well, gee, if you can think it, maybe we can do it. But equally, the notion to influence from the perspective that a song, it has a nice little beat to it, you can remember it, it's then repeated, and then eventually it becomes part of the psyche. So the behavior that we see being exhibited in some perhaps reflect what they have now sort of taken on board because of the video, the song.
Because of the influence.
The influence.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah, man.
Why?
It's undeniable.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would always, yeah. It's undeniable.
It's undeniable. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Frank Sinatra song. Undeniable. That's what we are. No, but
I hear you there. Voice and on me.
What you say, man?
Say?
Only you in the town hall I can remember, man. No, but this is where I think that we fail sometimes to appreciate that in an environment where we allow people to express the difference of opinion, but they do so where they feel that they're going to be safe, they'll be nurtured, and they can get into it, right? It's like a boxing match. You know, within that ring there are particular rules. When the referee break, hey, you pull back. You know, you don't. That's not MMA.
Good talking, and there are disciplines to everything in life that are supposed to teach us just by influence how to operate in life.
Yeah, man.
It's where we get some people that are unethical and some people who have scruples, and some people would go as far as to say, well, your morals are different from mine. It's not necessarily the morals, it's more of those your bylaws, you know what I mean? But influence is a hell of a thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about being negative. You know, like you have to watch. I remember when we were in church and as kids, you know, they'd have that song, "Oh, be careful, little mouth, what you say."
Sing it for us now. You at the church too, man?
There's a Father up above, He is looking down in love. You know what I mean? You remember the song. But I mean, I'm just saying that. And it's not just about, but it's not just about the Father looking down. It's about it's about what you are teaching yourself of how to interact with your fellow man.
Can I ask you something then, right?
Yeah.
And I'm mindful of this because I see a very deliberate, malicious attempt by many of us. Don't even look beyond our shores. Just look within, right? And if we even want to limit it to Grand Cayman, for argument's sake, who set about trying to destroy, demean, demoralize, divide. I'm thinking, that's a lot of effort, man.
It's a lot.
Spend more time uplifting and pulling and helping people to get somewhere. You know, I look at sometimes I say, you know, if you were, you know, put half as much effort into doing that, you would be 4 times ahead.
We would all be
further
ahead.
Yeah.
Remember now, a rising tide floats all ships.
Yeah.
So there's no way around it. I mean, that's the thing, you know, it's what we put in, you know, and this goes back to, you know, there's a natural mystic for real, Bob. You know, I have to say, you know, because you call me to come in.
Yeah.
You and George were talking about, you know what I'm saying? You see the correlation.
Yeah, man.
And then all of a sudden we went from that to what you Rambo were talking about, which all correlates.
But we got come full circle now, right? And ready for the news? All right, we're gonna hit the news. When we come back, let me just throw this. So you talked about natural mystic, right? Okay. The scripture talks about all knowledge is God breathed. Right? I'll pick up, but I want to hear from our people to stop sitting down with our thumbs. Let's get
action, man. The time is now. Good talking, my blood.
Cool. Let's hear the news. Let's see what's happening. And when we come back, hey, we invite you to share. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man.
It's only 2 species that we have on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
The Cayman Islands aquatic teams have been selected for the 2020 Carifta Games. Cayman will be fielding teams in artistic or synchronized, pool and open water swimming. 23 pool and open water Carifta athletes will compete at the Aquatic Center in Barbados to be held on April 11th through the 14th. The Carifta artistic swimming group will see 20 athletes at the same facilities in Barbados, but a week earlier on April 7th through the 9th. Tune into local sports this evening to find out the names on those teams. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, Senator Elizabeth Warren has ended her presidential campaign after a poor showing on Super Tuesday. A favorite of the liberal left, the Massachusetts senator had been a front-runner in the Democratic field. However, 70-year-old Warren failed to convert early excitement into votes. And pop superstar Katy Perry has revealed that she and her fiancé, Orlando Bloom, are expecting their first child. The star announced her pregnancy in the video of her latest song, Never Worn White, revealing a baby bump in the final frames of the 4-minute clip. Perry, who was previously married to Russell Brand, has been dating Bloom since 2016. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, www.radiokman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. The phone lines are open as you call and share your thoughts with us, and we mix it up a bit. I don't only think that Muhammad Ali is the greatest and will always be the greatest, not just because of what he did in the ring and what he did out, but because I think he was grounded. He has a great sense of humility. The man has strength and didn't bother build. The man understood the importance of stretching the mind and the muscle. While in the studio, likewise, a gifted orator, accomplished musician, well, a friend, not
a brethren.
Yeah, what you say, Bobo?
Amen.
But no, seriously, right? It's a pleasure that you accept the invite to join us, and we'll talk about everything. Mm-hmm. I want us to get to a place in our society where we can openly. It would be nice, honestly. It would be nice if there was a central gathering place. That tamarind tree that was cut down was still there. Instead of the paved concrete out in the center of town, it could be a nice little park of sorts.
Our misuse to drugs law ruined that for us, right?
That and some of the people be appointed to positions.
But the people we appointed to positions enacted the drugs law that stopped us from being able to, to gather in small groups. Yeah. Even that was something that the police could use as suspect. I was saying to someone this morning, right? I can interject here, but
no, go ahead, man,
I was saying to them, I actually went to court this morning for a traffic offense. I can speak about it there because it was all over the quote-unquote Cayman Mall Road. I don't know how I became so special all of a sudden that even my traffic offense gets to go on. But I know the judge gave me justice, I thought. I pleaded not guilty initially, and I pleaded guilty to the charge today because I had special reasons, and the judge saw that there was precedent to release me. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to tell the public that, if you see me driving, don't call the police because I'm driving legally. All right? But you go into what I'm trying to establish is that for so long in Cayman, we have this MO where it's almost as though we would like to see our peers I'll just sum it up in saying that we don't really wish them well. You know?
But hang on now. That is something that unfortunately Mr. Shalat earlier.
I think he was alluding to that, but he didn't really come out.
No. He alluded to it, right? I don't want to disrespect him because he is like all of us. We're polite. We're not. You gotta read between the lines. What or elderly talk, pick sense for nonsense, right? So most people, I think, avoid confrontation, right? There's an honorable gentleman in a very, very, very strategic, highly respected position that a long time ago, in a private conversation, he said to me, he used to subscribe, just like a lot of us, to this notion that straight talk bring no fallout, right? For those who don't
still use that adage.
I subscribe to that. I subscribe to that. For those who don't know,
it's a cultural epithet that transcends real Caymanians.
Okay. Well, he is like Eastern Heritage to that account. No, just kidding, Danny.
But that shows that it is a national,
exactly,
absolutely from east to west.
Exactly, and that's where
straight talk bring no fall. No.
Right. So we subscribe to that, right? Yeah. You know what a man said to me? He said, and I only because of the great position that he has, not just in terms of the title, but otherwise, right? Why I won't mention it. He said it's only then, right? I guess it comes through a time of experience and education and interaction. It's only then that you start to realize that that's when you really find problems. Because suppose you and a man talking, right? Come, let us reason.
Carry feelings.
And you ask him something, and he says something, you say something, and you being straight up, man to man, right? Two fathers talking about their spouses, their children, their experiences, whatever that is, right? Maybe they're talking politics and they realize that they have different opinions, whatever that is, but they're being straight up. What we say, man? You have hard feelings about that, right? You get all mumped up. It was only because you were being honest. You had that straight.
You see, the society was different when the epithet came out. When it came out, we were all on one level plane, and nobody had no ulterior motives. So it could work. Straight talk could lead to a better relationship. We may fall out for a while, but because of necessity, I need you, you need me. There was very little here, so all of a sudden we had to basically kiss and make up.
Yeah.
We had to overlook it, so we'd end up at Fresh Horse Bar, take 2 shots of hard liquor, laugh, or we'd you duke it out, and at the end of that, it was over.
Yeah.
That led to us having such a good, what we thought was like, this good
cemented relationship. Right.
But I mean, I'm talking about nationally now, this foundation that is starting to fall apart. And that's a concern, because really and truly, it was built on a good premise, which was straight talk, man, brings no falling out. But you can't have straight talk when you're scandaling people and gossip mongering and rumoring stuff that aren't factual.
But,
you know what I mean?
let me then ask, right? And I want to get into anything and everything, right? And I'm certainly, on a personal level, I always look at it as a direction. My prayer is that I have the good sense to understand when I get it and how to follow it.
True.
But I also believe it's important for an individual to be discerning, to pray for discernment, but for the individual to be willing to put in the work, the effort, in order to get the reward of success, right?
Absolutely.
Too many people want something, don't want to work for it, right? Not my style. Having said that, our leadership, with the greatest of respect, right? Our leadership, whether you want to look at the political leadership, the religious leadership, the civic leadership, otherwise the leadership in the household,
generally,
right? The leadership. Our leadership is lacking. There's no integrity sufficient. You use words just now, ethics, right? Integrity. The ethos that is within our society is being compromised.
But absolute power corrupts. Right?
And power corrupts, absolutely.
And power corrupts, absolutely. And that's the thing, This is where things like term limits and stuff have a value, because let me just say this, right? That like anybody can overstay their welcome.
Okay.
Like you can come to the house long enough to have a meal.
I did that one time, man. What wrong with you?
You know what I mean? If we're getting along fine, and after the meal, we can have a couple of drinks and you're getting along fine. And then after a while now, well, you've been here too long because I want to spend time with my wife. And I had a couple of drinks too. So now it's not going to really end well. Whereas if you were really a good guest, because it's not just about being a good host. It's about being a good guest as well.
Graciousness all along.
Absolutely,
okay,
man.
But go back to the earlier term limits, right? I hear what you shared. I understand what some people say. I have a different perspective. Initially, and for the foreseeable future, partly because, one, I believe the voter should be the ultimate arbiter. I don't want no arbitrary thing, right?
I endorse that statement.
Yeah, right. Secondly, again, because of the relatively small size of our population, the pool isn't that large. We're not talking millions of people. We're not talking hundreds of thousands, despite whatever the intent is otherwise, right? So why have a term limit on, as our constitution has now, on the premier, right? I didn't support it. Like Rambo, as he called and identified himself, he didn't vote in the constitution, yes or no, because he didn't want to participate. He didn't feel like he had enough.
A lot of people were misinformed that if they didn't vote, their non-vote would count anyway.
Right. But it turned out that they voted as a yes, right? Which, and I took licks for it. I stand by it. I thought the Constitution was an absolute, just a waste. The document didn't work the paper were printed on, right? And a gentleman that I respect, Mr. Kurt Tibbetts, then, right, he had said, well, half a loaf is better than no loaf. I didn't mean it to be offensive. I'd apologize for it every time when I said, well, if the half a loaf is John Joe, for those who don't know that means that it was moldy. The half loaf is no good, right? Yeah. That was a moldy half a loaf that we were given.
I guess you wanted to cut off the outside.
No. I want to give you the whole thing.
You used to do it when you had bad. You grew up with a bakery, man, so you don't know about a judge.
My mom baked. We had fresh bread all the time, Bobo.
West side.
No, but you see, that's the thing, right? The bread didn't have any preservatives. It didn't last long, right? So you consumed it quickly. But when it got John Joe, when it was moldy, what's the other word they use now? Anyway, it gone bad. You got rid of it, right?
Mildew.
Mold and mildew, and whichever. Yeah. We call it John Joe, right? Maybe some people call it something else. Yeah. But that's no good to you because you can't use it.
Right.
At least I don't think so. No, it's not hard and stale.
You have a very good point, and that's, I guess. You could liken what Kurt said to what Winston Churchill said about democracy. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, and that's the thing, is that see. Hold on, Dwayne. Let me just say this. I wear dreadlocks.
Oh, I thought that was weave, bro.
Hey, no, bro. You know better. Roots, not the roots. Dread, kinky dread. I wear dreadlocks, and I raised up in a Christian church.
Yeah.
And why I went to Rastafari was because Rastafari gave me an answer that I was really getting inside the Christian church. Now, I say that you're not to denounce Christianity, because I see Rasta and Judaism and everything like that being as something that comes off of it. But what I'm trying to get at here is that ultimately every man has to decide for himself what's going to happen in this thing. And if you can coordinate yourself right, if you can navigate yourself right, then you don't have no crashes and no, you know what I mean?
Exactly. But I tell you what, let's pause, take a break. But what they say, let each man be persuaded according to his own, right? So scripture. Let's pause, let's take a break. The phone lines are open. Notch is in the house, and we're not paying him much, so he better call because he might have other things to do. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Have you lost your mojo? Find it again at Mojo's in Central Terrace, Bayshore Mall, on the waterfront. Happy hour specials 5 to 10 p.m. every night. Free pool every night. Free parking every night. Food, happy hour, and stunning ocean views. Find your mojo at Mojo in Central Terrace. Central Terrace is home to Mojo, Cayman Creperie, and Lucky Slice Pizza.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners, serving the Cayman Islands for over 60 years. Now offering 12% off ladies and gents wearing apparel, $20 and up prepaid, or 10% off pickup within 7 days. All household items standard 10% off prepaid. This offer good at all our stores until further notice. Savannah Countryside, Elgin Avenue, Georgetown, Eastern Avenue, Georgetown, 949-7104. Drive through, rain or shine. A great special. You feel good when you look good.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for calling in the studio. You know, I can call you a friend, man.
Yeah, man.
You're not feeling embarrassed by it? Insulted?
Good, man. Matter of fact, you know, you were the only people that still calls me Sean. And yeah, but that's because that's how we grew up. We grew
can
up.
Call you that.
You know what I mean? There you go. It feels natural. It feels normal.
Bro.
You know that I could be in a room
Yeah.
with a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And if people don't call me Notch, or if they don't call me Jean-Eric, I really don't respond.
Yeah.
But if somebody calls me Sean, I automatically click to it because
my voice is here.
It's your voice, my brethren.
No, but you see, you say something real.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be real, and not just real with each other. You know, real with ourselves.
Good talking.
Right.
It's not about finding her truth. It's about finding the truth.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when we look at things, right, it's easy to critique stuff, you know, but can you do so constructively? And when you're critiquing something else and everything else and everyone else, are you willing and able to objectively do the same for yourself, about yourself?
And if you're not critiquing constructively, you're being destructive.
Well,
that's just it.
That's
you
it.
know,
you can deconstruct something in order to improve upon it or to understand how it's put together, right? But when you destroy, what do you say? Destructful. Why are you destructful? Is that a word, right? But when you destroy,
I think that's destructive.
No,
but this is destructive.
No, I think the best way to understand. You're destructful, boy. Right? You're destroying things. No, I am very conscious that we are losing so much, that perhaps we've lost so much. Even our dialect, even the little words, the way we said things, right? Unfortunately, we became embarrassed because it made us, according to some people, feel as if we were...
It wasn't politically correct. It wasn't Queen's English. You know what's interesting? When you travel, that's what travel is so good, you know, because when you travel, you get to realize that there ain't anybody who really speaks Queen's English.
All right. Can I I'll be careful you don't go any further with it than you want to, right?
Okay.
Some of us are friends from Ireland, right? And I'm not going to talk about any other country. But when they talk, you got to wonder, are they from right across the thing there, or are they down here?
Yeah.
They don't sound one and the same?
Absolutely. There's
Right?
a lot of similarities.
Yeah. And now the THING and the TING is the one the same, you know? But the TING sound a lot better.
Yeah.
And I tell you something, it feel a lot better too.
Well, you know, one of the things that I am accused of is that depending on where I am, people say that I adopt people's accent. And I actually found myself doing it, but it's because I think the art of communication is not only to speak and let somebody hear what you say, but to let them actually feel something by the words that you've chosen and the way that you choose to deliver it. So if communication's about getting through to somebody, you want to get through to them as effective as you can. So like talking to a yard, I might put on a Jamaican accent, but that don't mean that I'm not a Caymanian. You understand? And similarly, some people, and I think it's a sign of respect.
Yeah.
You know, it's saying to somebody, well, look, we can communicate on your level. It doesn't mean that I'm greater than you or less. It's just a different level because that's what we're doing, you know. But
and listen to that, right? I understand art of communication, the notion of not just what you say, but a non-verbal thing, right? And to be able to relate. Okay, you said it this way, I understood, and I can talk back. Not. Unfortunately, some people do it, and it's almost mocking. Right? That's not what you're talking about, right?
I ain't talking about that at all.
No.
This is a different context. I'm talking about actually having a constructive conversation,
right.
But you've just adopted this dialect, so to speak.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's part of how language begins.
Yeah.
Because somebody came up with the word yada. And all of a sudden, it's like we all understood what they meant, yada. So all of a sudden, all of us could say yada. We wasn't saying it to mock the person who said it.
No.
We were actually using it as a descriptive, yada. Like, where we going? I'm going yada.
Yada.
You know, we are going. So,
but with that in mind, right? and again, certainly, tune in and turn on and certainly call in 949-8037 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. I enjoy when you share, whether publicly, whether here, whether otherwise, right? Because it is like Patrick Schmidt the other day when he comes in, he has a chat, like Rambo, like a few others, right? Including young Mr. Moxon when they call in. We are oftentimes as a society willing to dismiss so many of ours, right? If he doesn't mind me using him as an example, right? Take Mr. Bush, for instance. Remember in the 80s...
Mr. Bush as in McKeever.
Sorry,
the
Honorable...
Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Speaker, right? When he first started on the political trail, he may have been dismissed. Young, but you from Old Bush or whichever, right? I can only speak it from West Bay. It probably was the same in the other districts, right? And then,
I still call it Old Bush.
Well, I do too. Right?
It's Old Bush to me. It's Crab Hole to me. Reverend Blackman Road, and it's just what it is.
Yeah.
Miss Daisy at Logwoods. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I don't care what kind of name they want to put on it, but for me,
so you actually read into my mind where I want to ask us to consider, right? Because of our history. But here's a gentleman that recognized labor legislation and other things. We may want to put a term, call it injustices and social injustice, whatever we want. And he's been there in all intents and purposes on the political scene at the very least, given his first political run in 1980, right? So the involvement prior, and has been through. And anybody, any time, the sports athlete who's highly accomplished will have ups and downs. We'll have some good days and some better days.
Absolutely,
right?
We're all human.
Right?
Yeah. It's human to err.
Yeah. And now when we look at where we are, right?
You mean with him?
With him, with the political landscape, with the evolution of our constitution, with the inability sometimes of our parliamentarians to grasp maybe the political sort of ramifications of their action and inaction. And yet the voter is so willing to abdicate the responsibility of the voter.
I know.
Boy,
we in a bad mess.
All right.
Boy,
let's call her.
Keep it positive.
Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Not too bad.
Just one bad?
I have a question.
Of course.
These private yachts that is coming into the Cayman Islands, who is checking these people out to make sure that they don't have the coronavirus?
Good talking.
You want our job?
No.
Okay.
Just 4 here in Cayman at this present time, and I don't see nobody doing that, or even scanning these people.
A question for you, and this isn't meant to be facetious by the way, right? So if they come into Cayman Brac or into Grand Cayman and they go through customs, immigration, whatever clearance, the port, whatever, and then they leave Grand Cayman or Cayman Brac and go to the other island, do they need to do the same thing?
But I get to understand that Grand Cayman doesn't have the tools for this type of stuff yet.
What kind of stuff you talking? Coronavirus?
Yeah.
No, the problem.
Oh, well, if Grand Cayman not going to Cayman Brac, not got it.
No, I'm sure.
I'm telling you that. No more. I would say that once you're in Cayman waters and you clear one time, you don't need to clear again. But I don't know if that's truly the case. I mean, I would speculate. That's just me speculating that, that let's say the yachts came into Grand Cayman, right? Then that would mean that they had to enter customs here, so that they could go anywhere in Cayman waters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. But you have a good point though, because what are we doing for?
We're not prepared for
the private yachts, for the cruise. I mean, we understand government's responses and the like, but tell me your fare other than the obvious.
The coronavirus.
Anyway. Yeah, man.
That's all I have to say.
No. Thank you for sharing. And that was something I wrote down earlier. I would may have wanted to have you. Thank you, sir, for sharing that thought.
While we're there, I mean, we can get on that.
Of course, man.
I run the craft market. I created the craft market 20 years ago this September.
Wow. It's been that long, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
So, the craft market feeds roughly 30 vendors in our country. Someone pointed out to me the other day that I was only taking credit for creating something that provides for 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, you need to quantify that times 5. As each one of those people usually have families and stuff. So it's true, I would say that roughly 150 people are provided for by that craft market. And those people are on the front line of the cruise tourism, on the front line of cruise tourism. So I just had the conversation with them earlier today. And sometimes I'm harsh in the way I deliver things. But usually it's because I've already repeated myself 3 or 4 times calmly.
Mm-hmm.
So I had meetings with them in November when coronavirus first came on the world map, and made them aware of this new virus and how the people that they meet are international clientele. Now it's their responsibility to take care of themselves on that line. So more sanitizer, invest in a Lysol for yourself, and a face mask. We had the conversation again before Christmas. We had it again after Christmas. We had it in the new year. So today, when it was in Jamaica, the people were off the ship, so it's getting closer. So today I come into the market and we had a conversation. I said to them, look, and these are vendor meetings with everyone there. And I says, you guys are going to wait until this is like when it's a hurricane and there's a panic shop and there aren't going to be any face mask available. There aren't going to be any sanitizer available. And there going to be no Lysol around. So this comes back to personal responsibility. You have to look out for yourself. You have to look out for your own immune system and stuff, because there's very little that we can do.
Right.
So, I mean, Cayman's an island, but it's not in isolation anymore.
Let me then ask of you then, from your perspective. You can weigh into whatever hat you want to wear. And otherwise, you talk about personal responsibility. And we look at the geopolitical landscape. We look at Cayman's role in the world of international finance. We see the access to travel, physical travel for our people and for people to come here and so on, right? So we understand in the Legislative Assembly, the Honourable Premier said, but there's no plan to grow the population. There's no deliberate overt plan to increase the population.
I don't believe that.
We keep
I don't think he's. I mean, we can agree to disagree. I just don't think Mac's being truthful where they say that. I think that there's a plan that we aren't aware of as voters, that the powers that be. I thought you said he said it as the Premier.
No, the Honourable Premier said.
Oh, the Honourable Premier said it.
I picked one.
Well, there you go. I mean, and I say that to say that as far back as when Mac was Premier, was when I heard him talking about they had a plan for 100,000 people. So if they had a plan for 100,000 people then, I don't want to sound out the Honourable Premier now. He be saying there's no plan for it because the Premier is the Premier.
But the question is, right, if there is no plan, or there is a plan, and
I think it's a bad plan.
Yeah, and the fact that it's going to grow the population with or without a plan, not having a plan or having a plan is still a bad plan. That's what you're saying. Okay. All right. So having that understanding and whether we come to some consensus as to that, the question is then, looking at food security, looking at the potential threats to the society, not being isolationist, not being insular, none of those things, but understanding self-preservation, personal responsibility, all of the things that come with running a nation. This populace, where it's no longer...
And lately with running a music association.
And I want... you know where I'm going with this, right? So I want to bring it back from not just the macro level, but the micro level to an extent. Right?
Yeah.
So whether, just to make it easy, whether we're a population of 100,000 or whether we're a population of 2 million when we count the visitors to our shores on an annual basis, because the population isn't 100,000 or 50,000. We have 2 million-ish who come to our shores, throughout the year.
Very good point.
And so our goods and services have to now accommodate, including our policing, our medical facilities, our infrastructure like roads and the like. That's not for 10,000 or 100,000.
No.
That's 2 million.
No,
all right?
absolutely.
Okay, so that's the macro level from that perspective. I keep coming back to where is the voter collectively and individually getting involved, engaged, informed, and being responsive.
I think it comes down to a plan.
Okay.
In the 90s, we had a little bit of, I want to say, collective responsibility. When we planned the Vision 2008, we were looking forward to something. I don't know what's even, can't remember what was on the Vision 2008, but I can tell you this much. I don't think that we fulfilled half of the agenda.
Probably not.
Right? Probably not. Right? And we still don't hear anything about it, which that plan should have been something to continue on. It's like when I became president of the Music Association, the first thing I did was I put in place a 5-year plan. And every exec that came in ever since then, we followed that 5-year plan.
Right.
Now that 5-year plan has been executed, there needs to be another 5-year plan.
All right. Take us then to music and entertainment. Let's talk about the Music Association. Whether we're musicians or whether we love live music, or whether, I think everybody somehow.
You got the email, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
okay.
Man. So is it part of tonight? Just kidding. That's not it. No. Oh, rumors.
There's a party over here. Super fast.
Oh, my God.
Brother.
Okay, but this almost brings us full circle now to Mr. Chilette's earlier comment, the unity and the like, right? Some of the stuff he talked about, I want to talk about.
Unity is what I'm after. Anybody who knows me as a K-man knows I'm about unity. I take a lot of licks. You know, I got people talking about I'm a tyrant on Facebook that not even K-manians, you know what I mean? Like and people trying to, or not true K-manians, if you would come out in public and say that about somebody else unprovoked, like, you know what I mean? And people trying to belittle me and attack my character and defamate me and think for doing what I know is right in my community. I raised up as a musician and came on without apology. And who don't know that, don't want to know that. I didn't beg for that. That's ordained, you know what I mean? So I grew up and I found the music. It was ordained. I'm not saying that I'm divine. I'm saying that it was ordained. That's my path.
You answer your calling.
I definitely stood up and accepted my role. And I didn't fight that because I had the natural talent and ability to execute it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
So I take on the Music Association because I was there when it was created. And it's so ironic because when I became president from an attempt of trying to keep unity. There was a big meeting at Royal Palms held by Mr. Berman Scott, and he was looking to form a new association and destroy the Music Association. It was no good then. It wasn't serving his purpose for whatever reason. I went down to the meeting. Donward and them were there, a bunch of Caymanians, musicians and stuff, and I sat down, I listened, and after that I got up and I spoke, and I said, guys, this makes no sense. It took us 28 years to get where we are now, and we're talking about breaking off the association. That's one of our problems in Cayman. We don't want unity, and we don't understand that we must stay the course. You understand? And the guys you see going missing on a ganja move, you know they going missing from? Guess what? Not staying the course, rowing on top of the move. No, go this way, go this way, go this way. You know where you're going, go where you're going. You have to stay the course so you can get to your destination. You don't stay the course, you could end up missing, could end up losing your life. We could lose our country because we're not going to unity. That's what's happening to us. So anyway, 12 years ago, there was a big meeting at Royal Palms. I go to the meeting. I tell the man that the following Sunday we go to, and I tell him, say, instead of breaking up the association, let's go in and vote. Do it the way it should be done, and put new people in place. Brett McLean was the president then. So Berman and Brett obviously wasn't friends because it wasn't on the same agenda. Then there was factions all over the place. There was this one who associated with this one. That's why the song competition wasn't working, because the same people who sit on the board today were fighting against the same people they're sitting with now, acting like they're against Sean Smith. Well, you know, what are you against Sean Smith for? That's not the agenda of the Music Association, to fight me. What are you fighting me for? You understand? So I'll get the story out, you know, because it's real and it's my story.
Well, I want to hear your story. You want to share with us?
Yeah, without a doubt, my brother.
Let me just cast my eyes across the pond there. You need a break, or are we going to the phones? All right. You will see when two men working, or there's also a problem.
There's a problem. They like the controversy, you know. My chest big, you know. I'm born, you know, I raised, you know. Nobody can run me from, you know. Remember that, you know.
When we come back, more story. Stay tuned.
You know me?
Stay tuned. Don't forget to tune in Monday through Friday for Radio Cayman's local evening sports report during the 6 p.m. news hour.
Taking a look at Radio Cayman's local sports, I'm Dion Anglin.
It is proudly brought to you by King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs.
Rotary Club Central, in association with the Cayman Islands Health Services Authority, HSA, present Health Check 2020. Free health check, free mini medical consultation, diabetes, hypertension, and much, much more. Saturday, March 7, 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. Nurses, doctors, Rotarians in service to you. The Rotary Health Check 2020 at A.L. Thompson's, Foster's Airport and Countryside, Foster's Republics, and Camana Bay. Costs you less. And Hurley's Supermarket. You may save your life. Rotary Central Health Check 2020. Your life, your health. Rotary, connecting the world.
The Spring 2020 Labor Force Survey conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office starts on Sunday, March 8th. The Labor Force Survey collects data on employed and unemployed persons. Trained interviewers with ESO ID cards will visit randomly selected households in all districts. The interviews are confidential in accordance with the statistics law. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from freedom of information. For more details, please call the ESO hotline at 516-3329.
On Thursday at 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman, you can hear a repeat broadcast of the CI Retro Talk Today presentation, which aired on Friday, February the 29th, when we bring you the second in the three-program series on the path to the Cayman Islands' first constitution in 1959, Cayman Islands politics and governance. This program will focus on the origins and development of political parties in the Cayman Islands and is being brought to you by Parsons Air Conditioning, Refrigeration and Appliances in West Bay. Parsons is presently having a big value blowout sale on refrigerants. You can get a 25-pound cylinder of 410A or 417A refrigerant for $80. The R134A 12-ounce can is going for $8. Call Parsons Air Conditioning and Refrigeration at 949-3945 for all of your air conditioning, refrigeration, and appliance needs. That's CI Retro Talk Today, Thursday at 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
It's lunchtime. Thank you for joining us, and then thank you very, very much for sharing some of your time with us in the studio notch as we're going to continue talking about the Music and Entertainment Association. But we do have a couple of callers online.
Yeah,
let's rejoin the phones. Good afternoon. Thank you for sharing.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am fine. How are you today?
Oh, very thankful.
Feeling good.
Good. That's Sean Eric that's on there with you, right?
So that would be I.
It's the same fella. Same said guy.
West Side for life.
I like that Caymanianism you read on with at the very end there before the break just now, though. That was so beautiful to hear.
Oh, thank you, darling.
That they want in our environment anymore. They want to remove the distinction of Caymanian, all right, of which a major part is our dialect. Yeah. And when you just spit that out just now, it was beautiful to hear. Listen, I call in to tell you thanks for all of your work in the music and entertainment industry here in Cayman.
Oh, thank you
I
so much.
recognize the impact that you had made and was making and is making, and you have my full support going forward because I believe that you are the right person as president for the Music and Entertainment Association, the Cayman Music. Yeah, and I agree with Mr. McFeel about changing that word to Caymanian Music and Entertainment Association. And I did read the article in the Caymanian Times that covered a meeting that happened on Sunday, a week ago.
So was this Sunday?
This Sunday going here. And it is incredible the way that Caymanians can sometimes defeat themselves in their own minds. Here you are going ahead, bringing things together, making things work, exposing Caymanian artists, providing more opportunities, more exposure, more...
Yeah. Hello? Okay, that caller got...
there
you are,
yeah,
you're back.
I'm going to have to call you back.
Okay.
From the landline.
Okay.
But I just want to say thank you for all that you have done.
Thank you so much, Colin. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Really appreciate that.
And I hope, she doesn't mind me sharing, but that's another lady who's outspoken and has a firm grasp and a firm sense of, sort of grounding.
CIHS educated good people,
Yeah, man.
They ruined a seriously good school, blood.
Well,
listen to me.
Let's take the caller.
I'm telling you.
Let's take the caller. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, Sterling. Rambo again, man.
Welcome back again, man.
Yeah, my brief round. This is Sterling. Listen, you recall the first time you saw me, right? You met me, right?
Yes, sir.
2013, Human Society. And I tell you, I like how they operate with Mr. Bush, with the witch hunt. Several citizens doing the car horn. I say, boy, I got to the Scotland Yard here, or MI6. You ask me how to that point? Boy, I see several running cars, You recall that, right? That was 7 years ago now. Okay. We have a big graduate. You still come from, right? In same time before that, they come with it. Anytime in election, right? Right? They don't want no delicacy, cuisine, finger food, sandwich food, right? That's the allocated that you remember that they drive, Where come from, right? And you go Mexico now, right? HBMS get liquidated. That's not right.
Yeah.
If you start in, you see how we operate, literally, right? I theorize my method, and transmit my thoughts, contributed, right? And who could be extroverted with it, and people get pathetic with cultural influences. It came on, listen to me, came on. They don't even test only a wedding, matrimony, or funeral. Yeah, that's it. That was seriously.
But we got to change that. We got to change that, man. We can't make that continue to be the reality. This our portion in the land of the living in the Rambo. This we just send all that, Remember, say we never asked nobody to come here, This is our portion in the land of the living. And if we don't represent properly, right, you know what happened, that's right. You heard what people saying about dog, with supper?
Dog, supper.
Oh, I hope you know. And that why, listen, man. I mean,
I don't know, but you see, like in my adolescent, right, in my years, right, I do several women now. They're abroad, right? Like, but I talk about high school, even right now too. I talk about several women. They don't want her now. But you hear Rambo want her now. Pause her mind, Yeah. She get played out. But that's how it is. Okay, man, it's even politics too. How it is. Yeah. But what we came on, they do unity. And that our downfall. Yeah. Right? No surrender in the unity, their downfall. Right? The last one they see what happened after I won. But everybody got power on. Everybody going again. Fast lane. But how it is now. We are the chat. Good day.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, now let's pick up another caller. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Please.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon, man. Afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon to my cousin Dewey, Sambo.
What's going on, boy? How things going?
All right, yeah.
I saw you in the supermarket the other day, but you know how it is, Zoom, can be hang out too long.
No, what he said, you talk too much, boy. He left you alone.
I was on that this thing called a telephone. When he crossed me, we had to do the elbow pump,
Ay.
Anyway, so it goes. Nice listening to both of you as well.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. And beautiful conversation. And thanks for the enlightenment. Notch never fails, never fails. The heart's there, you see. It's strong, and what I'm hearing is constant affirmation between yourselves, on yourselves, and then to the broader Cayman community, something that is sorely lacking. You know, we're so quick to tear down, to scandalize, to destroy people. And I'm not just talking, listen, in fact, let me say it in an affirmative way. I am specifically talking to our institutions in government are failing to affirm Caymanian, so we remove things like the Caymanian Protection Board and we have an immigration board. So, you know, that kind of thing. For example, I'm talking about our private institutions where we, you know, downplay things that are Caymanian or we find semantics to describe it another way. And then I'm talking about personal responsibility. So, yes, on social media where we're quick to castigate and destroy people. So the affirmation of the Caymanian person in our community as Caymanian is, it's on a great low. I just want to also echo the comments of the caller before to you, Sean, in terms of the work that you've done over the years. Anyone who have been of this community, and certainly Caymanians, know your journey. No, I love how you affirmed yourself in terms of identifying it as a calling and answering that. That was beautiful, and it speaks to soul, man. And you did rise to that, man. Whoever don't know of the juveniles haven't been in Cayman, and that speaks volume, man. You've been an inspiration for all those who have tread that calling in the arts to answer that call, and you've been a voice crying in the wilderness in many respects, in many ways. And your action speaks for themselves in terms of what you've done to try to make the stage, the framework for growth within, for musicians and within the artist world. So that speaks for itself, my brother. I have one question. The question, Sean, is, I have not been, there's always been this confusion for me in my mind, and maybe you can help shed some light, and I'll get off the phone and listen to your response, if anything. But there's always been this thing with musicians that are not from Cayman or transient guest worker who were taking on gigs or doing gigs within Cayman. Is that allowed under the work permit system? Bring some clarity. And how does the Music Association, as far as you know, and your understanding from having just been in there, or I'm not sure where it's at in terms of the leadership now, but how do you all view that? Do you view the fact that these artists are contributing to the art of music, or do you view it as something that's threatening to the Caymanian artists who then are not called upon to play at some of these venues? I listen out for you, man. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts over the years on that.
All right. Cool, man.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. Listen,
thanks for those comments, man. That was you really well said. I mean, and it felt like it was from the heart, so I appreciate it.
Can I not? I know you won't lose your train of thought because whatever. But just out of respect, we'll get things back on track. Let's pause. You take a response. We have a caller. We can mix it up. We can give you a story as well. Okay. All right. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
If your business is over here, but your customers are over here, adding more yellow to your business will bring you both right here. With everyone searching yellows, print, online, and mobile app, getting your business noticed is easier than ever. Book your consultation today at findyellow.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Notch for sharing with us. And we're going to get into more discussion in relation to the Music and Entertainment Association. We will also answer the question that was posed. Would you be continue to be so gracious? Let us pick up our callers, because sometimes they pay for it, sometimes they
absolutely.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
We're sorry, all circuits are busy now.
Really? And nobody said there was nothing going on? Let's go to the next line. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello,
yeah.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, sir. How are you?
All right, man.
What?
What happened, Jason?
What is it?
Hey, listen, and I say nothing. No, all I gotta say is this. Let me rephrase that. If you place a call to somebody on the line and then that happen, you tell me what. Anyway, leave that be. But it's you, so it's you we're listening to. Talk to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, what I was saying yesterday, Dwayne. Sorry, not. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Yesterday about the jury thing, right?
Yeah, man.
Sorry, I just had to clarify this 1 minute.
That's cool, man. Go ahead, man.
It's like, you see the herb thing?
Mm-hmm.
It creates a whole bunch of problems. You know? It make people steal, go on bad. It make do all kind of things. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, once you see that kind of law there like that it has these multiple effects, don't you dare call me for jury duty. Because that one thing you know you can do to solve all these problems, you don't get me in that. You understand? That's why I try and clarify.
Yeah, man.
And you see people go get 10 years for gun, people get sent back home. They can just pay for it on the other side. Understand?
Yeah,
so you don't dare call me for jury. You don't get me mixed up in that thing. Not true, Rasta?
For real, blood.
Not true.
But as they used to say up in Northward, what do concern no, you leave it alone.
You leave it alone? You hear that song that they got there?
That's cool, man.
I burn this prison down. That what it is, that song they got there? Yeah. You think that's a joking, right?
I mean, that happened before, man. You gotta know your history in that.
Okay,
you
then.
know what's going on in that.
Okay then, but you see, let's get down to the unity. You see, talking about protesting and things.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of ways you can protest.
Yeah, good talking.
Not true?
Yeah, man. There's loads of ways. Well, the first thing is we have to educate ourselves. You know, we gotta know what's going on in our community because that's something that's lacking. You know, I mean. Everybody got their TV and got a little lazy now and act like they just lock up inside. And I tell you the truth, them wild dogs on in West Bay know more about what's going on than most people in West Bay. Because they run the streets. And that's the thing, you know, like if we don't take back our community, which is the reason why things like flex time is so important to a small or a 4-day work week. All those things that could be enacted now to bring about a better quality of life, right? You see, without having all those things in place, district councils, so that when we got a problem in our community, it don't need to become a national issue. We can deal with it on the micro. When I got some guy who just built a wall on top of our beach access, we can actually deal with him promptly. You know what I mean? And this is the problem, right? Is that we have gone now to where, you know, it's almost like we are puppets and we're being handled by puppet masters. And if they don't pull a string, then it don't work.
What about my song?
And sadly,
a puppet on us.
Yeah, and sadly, you know, the puppet masters aren't all Caymanians. No. That's the thing. You got certain guys coming in because they got cash, they all of a sudden become a puppet master. Well, who you to become my puppet master just because you got some paper more than me?
Right. I must still obey by the law. I must still obey by this law. Because you got something to do with. You understand? You got something to do with who it benefiting. You understand? No.
But all that comes back to what George was talking about the corruption, you know? And that's those things that people see. Like, you can fool some of the people sometime, but you can't fool all the people all the time, is what Bob Marley was really quoting, right? And those old adages that are real, you know? Those are African proverbs, you know? You know that? They come from Africa. You know how long Africa has been churning out that type of wisdom? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I know, man. I know. You know, I know.
See?
Listen. You see this banana. You see it? That they sell in the store.
Yeah.
You gotta switch 1 minute, because they going back to the herb thing 1 minute.
Yeah, man.
Where we gonna get to what he talking about? You understand? You see this banana? This banana come from England. You understand? This breed of banana come from England. Cavendish. Now you see, if we had a breed of herb, like what they got it? not nothing to do with the banana, but you see, it's a strain of herb that it can only come from right here. So you know where the gold going come, the money or whatever going come to try get that strain of herb. All that can be all of us.
Yeah.
And not problems with certain people.
But I mean, but see, that thing too, like, if you got governance society, you have to have an open mind, and you have to realize when the momentum of the people, you have to have your pulse on in tune with the people, and our people are at a crucial stage, especially when it comes to our evolution. We're in a crucial phase. I just hope that at the end of this, we don't self-destruct, because the influences around us are so strong, so powerful, right? That, all I can say now, we really have to get on our knees and pray, and we have to do that as a nation, We have to do it as a nation. The herb is one thing, but we got bigger problems than the herb, my brother.
You thinking about just for smoking anything, boy?
No, man. No, not talking about just for smoking. Overall, I hear you.
We go in all toilet paper, everything out of that, you understand? All
fullness, yeah, man.
Out of that, you understand?
I with you, my brother, I with you.
Yeah.
There's loads of pseudo industries that we could have to feed our people and keep the money locally. I mean, that's one of my big pet peeves too, is all this money that we generate and that just gets set out in Western Union and transferred over in people's bank accounts in another nation, and you know what I mean? And the bank's not even down here, but they get our capital from down here to make investments in their jurisdiction.
Just a pension fund.
You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Yeah, our pension fund alone, like Dwayne said, all these things, man, we're supposed to be taking care of business that we're not really looking. We're not looking within. We're looking without, man, and that's why we're lacking.
All right. Hey, listen, we hit the news break, but before we go, anything else you want to share with us?
Oh, man, that's cool.
All right, listen, thanks for listening, thanks for thinking, and actually, thanks for contributing. All right? All right, we're going to pause, and as we hit up to the caller prior.
Answer that.
Yeah, just could you answer that while we get ready to the news? Because I don't want to make that caller feel that we were dismissive.
No. The position is that you are not legal in the Cayman Islands to hold more than one job if you're an expat, unless you have an addendum to your work permit. So the music association or the music industry, we have to adhere to that same governing principle. So if you come to this island and you're a dive master, you're a lawyer, you're whatever, but you also play music, you cannot play music commercially in the Cayman Islands unless you have an addendum to your work permit. And you can't get a work permit to play music in the Cayman Islands, or you shouldn't be able to. If you are, then that's a violation of the immigration policy that we have, the CME has with immigration. You shouldn't be able to get an addendum to your work permit without first getting an endorsement from the Music Association. And the Music Association does not give endorsements in the off-season because most places close, so there's less work for the local musicians. We give addendums in the season, for the season.
Which is December through April.
December
that's still the season? 15th to the 15th?
Right, December through, right, it's still a season.
All right.
But we don't give it for individuals to make money out of the music industry. In other words, if you were a musician and you were playing with a Cayman ensemble, and the ensemble approached the association and said,
looking for a drummer.
We're looking for a drummer.
Argument's sake.
We can use this lawyer here during that time. Bam. And then, once that happens, that person might be able to get an exemption as well with the association to have it extended into the off-season because he's helping to create work for other Caymanians.
Fair enough. But enforcement? I mean, I know we've got to get the news, but is it enforcement?
Enforcement. When I came on board, I created as president of the Music Association, one of the subcommittees I created was called an ethics subcommittee. But the problem with the association is that we're fragmented ourselves, so it takes manpower, and that's what I've been preaching to people all the time: is that without their unity, you can't get what it is that you desire.
All right, here to beat. We're going to pause, take a break. When we come back, we're going to pick up the other callers. We'll continue the discussion.
Absolutely.
Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Yeah.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access to information.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
25 of Cayman's teens are in the thick of gearing up for the Youth Parliament on Monday, which is Commonwealth Day. From October 2019, the students have been hard at work learning about all aspects of the Legislative Assembly. The 16 girls and 9 boys represent 9 local schools. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. California has declared a state of emergency after announcing its first coronavirus death, bringing the U.S. death toll from the disease to 11. The 71-year-old man had underlying health conditions and had been on a cruise ship. 11 passengers and 10 crew members are potentially infected on board the Grand Princess, now being held off the coast of California. There are now at least 150 reported U.S. patients with COVID-19 in 16 states. And a 3-year-old Indian girl who went missing during last week's riots in the capital, Delhi, has been reunited with her parents. BBC earlier reported that a Muslim family who were fleeing the riots had found her near a mosque. Her family came forward to claim her after volunteers sourced the area. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to Notch for sharing, if you don't mind me saying this public, not just your insight and intellect, but your willingness, your perception, your graciousness, man. It's fun, but it's also enlightening to have you on board, man. Blessings, brother. Blessings.
Yes,
all right, we got a couple of calls online.
Let's have them.
Let's take them all. Good afternoon. Thank you for listening, and thank you for calling.
Hi, Dwayne. It's me again.
Hi, me again.
Hi, me again.
Yeah, me again.
We always like to have good conversation with intelligent people.
And despite that, we're here too.
Yeah. So, good afternoon again. Sean, I just want to throw something in there about the permits and foreign worker and their playing for music and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this would interact with the Music Association, but there are certain types of volunteerism that even requires for you to have a permit on the island.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can't just always jump up and say, I want to go volunteer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To answer that, with the association, we always tell people that they have they can join the association and assist the association in assisting the community by providing free entertainment, but it has to be for a charitable event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just now you were talking about the unity that's necessary in the country, and I just have this feeling like we're starting to wake up to the unity principle. I think we have been beaten so hard by ourselves and by the visitors to the country that we actually finally starting to feel the sting of the lash across our back. And it is the disunity that is actually keeping us so enslaved. And when we think about, how, who would ever thought that in an industry, music, something that's meant for peace and relaxation and enjoyment and fellowship and liberty, that it could be so affected by disunity.
So true.
But Caymanians need to wake up and realize we all have our own individual strengths, but collectively we can't be overcome. Right?
That's very true.
And I never seen a captain sail the ship. The captain gives the orders, but he needs the sailors. The sailors are as important as the captains, and we need to realize that there are times when we just need to stay in that sailor position and play that very, very critical role, because the ship has to sail in order to reach the next destination at safe port. And a lot of the disunity is caused just simply by envy, Not because there's anything wrong. It's just I want that title, that particular title. There could be another one, There could be another very important title for you, a very important role for you to play. But I want that one, the one that Sean has. That's the one I want. Forget the fact that I'm gifted, I'm a CPA, and I can turn these numbers so fast and nobody else can do it.
I have a degree and he not got one, so he don't deserve to be there. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the other thing was about the prayer for the country. You were saying that we needed to pray.
We do.
And so I just want to invite you to pray with me right now.
Absolutely.
Father in heaven, we thank you so much for this country. We thank you that you are our creator. We thank you that we know you as our God, as Jehovah, as the Lord God strong and mighty, the Father of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob. Lord, we come to you now and we admit that we are a sinful people, that we have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But Lord, we ask for your forgiveness. And we ask you to let us be cognizant of everything that we think, we say, and we do, that we may represent you, perfectly represent you, Lord, not in our own perfection, but in the perfection of Jesus Christ, our wonderful Lord and Savior. And Lord, that you may cause us to become a unified people for your name's sake, that we can show the mightiness of this country, of its people who are now a downtrodden and oppressed people, even within their own country, Lord. And so, Lord, we ask you to deliver us out from this and to cause us to be unified, that we may stand together powerfully and achieve the purposes for which you have sent us into this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen,
sister.
Whoa.
RT, thanks, right?
You hit me at the heart, sis.
Yeah. All right. Chat with you more time.
That was an amazing prayer. Thank you so much.
All right. See the power of prayer. But that's, of course, now you get people say, boy, they doing that on radio.
But doing that on radio, who we are.
Let's go to the next line. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Very thankful, very thankful. Thanks for calling.
Yep, good afternoon, Notch.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
My name is Eden Hurlston, for those who are listening to talk today right now.
Good afternoon, Eden.
Okay, okay.
And I was calling in to let people know that there's not a whole lot of huge disunity as far as the actual music scene in Cayman goes. It's quite unified. We do a lot of working together. We do a lot of collaborating. It's a very, very positive music scene in Cayman, very diverse. And from my perspective as a full-time musician, I see it expanding all the time. I haven't been involved in the CMEA for really, except in very, sideline roles for over 10 years. And most full-timers that I know, as far as full-time Caymanian musicians and entertainers, aren't involved in it. We haven't had any need for it, and it hasn't really assisted us in any way to keep on making a living from playing music in Cayman. But meanwhile, we've assisted each other, like I said, through collaborating and through helping each other produce shows, playing shows together, getting gigs together, getting each other gigs, to really make what I see as a very vibrant music scene. I very, very rarely see any expats playing out who aren't also playing with a Caymanian. I haven't had a whole lot of experience in the 10 plus years that I've been playing music full time with having expats try to take my job or anything like that. So I feel like there's definitely a lot to be said for having a more streamlined system in place for visiting workers and expatriates to be able to participate in music legally. I feel like it's very much an over-politicized issue, because if you are staying strong and you're practicing up and you keep developing yourself as an entertainer, if you're ready to adapt and you're ready to evolve with the scene as it grows, then there's a good living to be made here doing it, and it's a fantastic livelihood to have, a very positive work experience. So I want to let the public know, basically, that as far as what Notch is referring to as the rogue exec that has gone to try to take over the CMEA or whatever, I'm serving as a director on there. And we are moving very much toward musical unity, and we have a lot of support from a lot of full-time Caymanian musicians and a lot of young up-and-coming Caymanian musicians as well, who felt like the CMEA of the last decade or so hasn't really been serving their needs or taking into consideration what they see as priorities. What we are trying to do is right now going through a few different processes and trying to reach some kind of understanding with Notch and his associates. And we have an important discussion coming up with our supporters and our members. Again, many of these people are well-established Caymanian musicians, full-time Caymanian musicians, and big movers and shakers as far as putting up productions in the music community, and also a lot of young up-and-comers who are reaching out to us for guidance in getting into music as a livelihood and into honing their craft. We are meeting this weekend, and before I make any statements of any kind in regards to our position on anything, I want to let people know that we're trying to handle things very democratically. And so once we have input from the members who are present at the meeting, and once we have input from our supporters, and once we get input from, again, the established musicians, the people who are making the music scene thrive now, and the young up-and-comers, then we'll be talking more about the options of how we can unify the association itself. But I wanted to let the public know, and Dwayne know, and Notch know, that the music scene in general, from what I see working in it day in and day out, week after week for over a decade, is very much positive, very unified. We do have some things to sort out for sure, but more so than anything, we have a need to make sure that we are forging professional quality musicians and creating a good standard for what is happening on stage in Cayman. So I really appreciate, Dwayne, that you gave this, a chance for him to speak out on this, and we'll be getting in touch once we hear back and get the perspectives of all the people who have been supporting us in order to have the democratic election that we had on January 12th. The only questions I really have to pose are a couple that came in to me during the show from some people who have some concerns, and one is about how many members are that you're counting in the association right now. They're curious about that. How many paid up or members in full and good standing are in the association? The second question is, what kind of outreach are you doing to help train youth and young musicians and young working musicians in becoming professional musicians or in working in the music industry in any capacity? And the third one is my question, which is why do you feel that so many full-time musicians haven't been interested in being involved in the CMEA over the last decade? So once again, how many members are there? and what kind of training is happening or what kind of outreach is happening to youth in order to get them ready for work in the music industry. And why is it that so many full-time entertainers that I know just haven't wanted to be involved in the CMEA in the last decade? And I have a good day, and long live Cayman music.
So Eden, before you go, could you don't need to do it on air unless you want to. Can you leave a contact number for me to be able to reach you?
I'm not going to publicly announce my phone.
No. I'm not asking. Would you leave it with a gentleman off here so that I can call you?
Yeah. Well, you all have my number, man.
Right.
I don't. Paul will take it from me.
I'll get it to you.
Okay. Yeah, just hang on. He'll take it for you, and then I'll call you. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much, man. And Notch?
Yeah. What the association is doing for, what was it? How many members in the association?
Uh-huh.
I think the association has now to date probably in excess of 150 members in good standing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not particularly sure that number. It wasn't more since we had this faction that's why I was here talking about unity, interestingly enough. And but yeah, the other question was concerning young musicians outreach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the association doesn't have its own revenue sources besides for those endorsement fees that I mentioned for getting addendums to work permits. Obviously, anybody who's prepared to come in and make money commercially off of music, the association tries to make something off of them. It's a stipend. I think it's like $100 per person. It's the same for visiting musicians. Before I go any further, though, and speak about what we're doing with the youth, I'd like to say that I think Eden's comments really and truly were an endorsement of my good management of the music industry. That's why in the past decade, he has been enjoying those fruits and not too much competition from foreign people, in that there's been this path to some semblance of order that creates that opportunity. What we're doing for the youth, we had, as per, we have a mentorship program that's in place that was funded by the Ministry of Culture. It was done in partnership with Z99, where we had 16 bards to LA. It was a rap competition. And we decided to fund a mentorship for rappers and do the competition to find the best out of the lot. Because during the Coalition of Information for the National Heritage and Culture Policy, which I was instrumental in as the president of the Music Association, it was identified that we have over 40 to 50 young musicians annually who are recording, who are composing, writing, recording, and publishing their own music. But all of these artists are doing this in the hip-hop genre. And my young son is one of them. So everybody wants to be a hip-hop star. And as a way to balance that offering, the ministry gave in to my request to have funding for a revision of the National Song Competition, which is the key component to Pirates Week. So to offset what the youth are doing naturally, we put the song competition in place, which is restrictive by regional genre. You can only write a soca, a calypso, a merengue, dancehall, reggae, punta, any of those Caribbean genres to win $10,000. That's the package, because we want to encourage those young people to not write rap music, but to write a regional genre composition. But while we're trying to do that, we still have to try to support the natural growth of those artists who are doing hip-hop. So we do a rap competition, which has finished now, 16 bars to LA. the top two winners, Big Harv and Emilido, are going to LA in April the 1st to the 6th, along with the winner of the Pirates Week Song Competition from last year. That would be Mr. Matthew Brown. Is it Matt Brown?
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Ben Hudson, who is the producer of two of the tracks. So what will be taken to Los Angeles will be two local rappers who are at the creme de la creme. That's based upon a public vote with Z99. And then the winner of the National Song Competition and the top producer. The plan is that exposing those four top talented people to the further and deeper music industry, they'll be able to further assist the locals here that they interact with. Knowledge transfer.
All right. We're calling line. Right?
Yeah?
Let's pick up the line. Hey, good
Absolutely.
afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Again, sorry about that. This is Michael here again.
Hey, welcome back,
think
man.
I came through earlier, but I got cut off.
So,
Hey,
yeah, certainly was
well,
intentional. Thanks, man, for calling back.
How you doing, Sir President?
I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. So I just have a few questions concerning the association.
Okay.
All right. So we now have an issue that is still being in line to be resolved.
Absolutely.
Within the association itself, and we all have took steps in trying to solve any sort of doubt or misjudgment that some of the public has thrown at the association.
But the misinformation has been thrown to the public, yes.
Yes, and that is that's an issue that really needs to be looked at. And the next thing as well, how would new members, become a member of the Cayman Music and Entertainment Association, CMEA?
All right, I'll speak to those.
Because there's a lot of artists out there who are not a member, and it would be in their interest, to be a part of the association, see all what the association has to offer, and move along the lines of the law.
Absolutely. Well, if I can answer those questions, pretty much, that's why I'm here. This conversation started about unity, and we've not digressed, but we've gone over a lot of topics. And the Music Association had a meeting on Sunday. The official Cayman Music and Entertainment Association. Like I said before, there is a faction, and as you are aware, that's gone and broken off, and that's unfortunate. We're trying to bring them back under the umbrella through the prospect of mediation. That's what was decided overall in the meeting that was held on March 1st. So what we would like to do is to liaise with them in the spirit of mediation and decide how we can proceed forward. The counsel for the association, Dr. Steve McField, did mention that, or he did advise that, he did advise that it would be.
And all of this is available to the public, correct?
You published in the paper, and it was given to all publics. Yeah, I think it's covered in yesterday's Caymanian Times. I'm not certain which publication of the Caymanian Times, but Stuart Wilson was there. You're covering the story.
Application forms.
Application forms can be had by emailing cmeainfo@gmail.com. That's cmeainfo@gmail.com.
And for payment for the
it's $200 a year for membership to the association.
And that is for local members.
That's for local members, yes.
For companies and foreign entities, they could become part of the association as well, correct?
They can be associate members, but they would need to write in an email to the same address, CME Info, explaining something about the company, including copies of their trade and business license to operate in entertainment in the Cayman Islands, etc., etc. And that's a one-time registration fee for companies who we do business with. It's like a vetting fee, which we apply to every application for an endorsement that comes from a company with a trade and business license.
All right, cool. And the next thing as well, right? For most of the local musicians out there that's tuned in and so forth, you've heard all the conversations today, and really and truly, I'm still appalled of the way how something so simple could be overthought or looked about.
Everybody wants to be somebody, Michael.
Yeah, of course.
So it's human nature.
How can you be somebody without nobody? Because somebody has to be there for you to be a somebody.
I mean, it's human. It's human.
Teamwork that makes the dream work, right?
Absolutely, I agree with you there, and I can't give you an answer other than that's a good ideal to hold. Teamwork makes the dream work. The Music Association has accomplished this level of success now because of, it's interesting that in all the years that I've been president, there's never been really a break off. Like I said, it was ironic. I started by saying that I saved the association from being divided, so I don't want it divided. I think it's better and stronger together. And the resolution of the meeting the other day was that we would seek to have a mediation that's better than arbitration.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully it won't have to go that far, but I am the registered and legal controller of the CMEA at this moment, and its rightful president.
And that is by law, correct?
That is by law, yes.
Okay.
There were some unfortunate attempts at freezing the bank accounts of the association, and this was allowed by a local bank, and that is very concerning to me, how a bank could use outside influence to restrict someone's account that has funds in it. We're looking into the legality of that, and we're prepared to go as far as to ask for a subpoena from the banks as far as who gave the authorization to have the CMEA's accounts frozen. But we've resolved that now, so I'm just trying to move forward. I really don't want to dwell too much on the past and on the negative. I've kept quiet for the past 4 months because I'm not in the habit of trying to tear down what I've spent 12 years you're building up. It just makes no sense.
And the same here,
Absolutely. So that's why I'm saying that it makes more sense to not dwell on the past.
Correct.
It just doesn't make any sense to do that. And yes.
So as you as I close here, I just wanted you to repeat how to get the information to become a part of the Music and Entertainment Association Cayman Islands.
All right. CMEAinfo@gmail.com. CMEAinfo@gmail.com.
All right.
Thank you for your call, Michael. Appreciate that.
All right. Thanks much, man.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a
we
good
have
day.
one final call and some WhatsApp questions and comments to share.
Okay.
All right. Take the call if we can. All right. Thank you very much, man. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi.
Afternoon.
It's Eden calling back again.
Eden, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on. I'm not going to take up too much time, but I didn't hear the question answered about why so many full-time Caymanian entertainers haven't wanted to be involved with the CMEA in the last 10 years. Also, that you had kind of addressed things that you're doing for youth, except you talk about giving them an opportunity to write a song, to enter a competition. Do you have workshops planned for actually writing songs, or for how to have young musicians understand how to set up a stage and play a gig, how to deal with venue relations, what to expect as far as a scale of pay? Do you have any workshops set up for them to talk with coordinators and talk with event planners so they can understand what is expected of them in professional situations? They can be prepared for an actual livelihood in music.
All right. Not before you answer, Eden.
I'm wondering about those types of things.
Sorry, Eden. If I could ask of you.
That we use,
yeah,
right?
Eden.
Yep.
If I could ask of you, right, and not while you're here, given that this is timely and topical, your schedule tomorrow, both of you, would you, if I could clear it, would you be amenable to coming on the show tomorrow, 1 o'clock?
I can't. I have to work on the far side of the gate.
And I don't think it's time yet for that, because I would really like to finish the mediation first.
Okay.
One of the things I wouldn't want to do is to air the dirty laundry of the CMEA.
We don't need to air dirty laundry.
Well, and then in that case, my schedule is free. You know, my schedule is free. The question you asked was, mentors and workshops. We have held workshops, the CMEA. We usually hold the workshops in conjunction with the music schools locally, and that is to make sure that the level of musicianship is on par. I think the last workshops...
Why did I not hear about any of those since I'm on the mailing list to hear about the meeting? I got the emails about the
Eden Earls, if this is the Eden Douglas Earlson, are you talking over me, or are you asking me a question and waiting for me to answer?
Why didn't I get the information?
I'd like the reason you didn't get the information. I'm not certain of this, but I don't think you were a member of the CME in good standing until you came off and started to go with this faction. When's the last time you actually came to a CME meeting? Were you at the last election that was held in 2018? Were you there? Did you? No.
I wasn't there. No, I wasn't there.
And you weren't a member in good standing, were you?
Well, you sent me
and you said when you called in that you hadn't been a member for the past 10 years. So why would you be receiving information about the CMEA? Listen, this is what I didn't want, but I will answer you this, that the last workshops that were held for the Music and Entertainment Association, it was Mr. Arturo Tapin giving a sax workshop, who is a musical virtuoso from Barbados. And the one before that was done by Mr. Wayne Cohen from Chalice. Dangerous disturbances. You understand?
Right.
So just letting you know that those were the two last workshops, and they were both done last year.
Right.
Okay.
But why didn't anybody in the full-time music community know about these?
I don't understand how people couldn't know about it. It was covered in the Compass. It was in the newspaper. I mean, I don't understand how it is that people like yourself can claim ignorance when it's in the public domain. But even I wouldn't like to have a tit for tat and back and forth with you on the radio. I mean, you know that I ain't backing down from that. I'm just saying that I don't think it's. Yeah.
But this is why I did.
Yeah, well, anytime Eden's available, you let me know, man, and I'll be here. Of course.
Talk to our supporters and members this weekend.
Okay.
But I wanted to things that were just expressed just now on your show, Dwayne, is what I'd like to ask about. Not theoretical stuff. Things that he just said. Okay. So, a friend, like, you haven't addressed why full-time entertainers haven't been interested in the CMEA in 10 years. You also said that funding is only through endorsements, and so I'm wondering what happens with...
I didn't say funding was only through endorsements. No. I said we had limited... Hold on, listen, hold on. Don't twist my words, my brother. I said we had limited funding, and one of the only sources is through grants from the Ministry of Culture, which are specific. They're outputs that the association signs on for to do certain things, such as the music festival. And that was something we had to sell to the ministry, you know? Certain things like the Night with Legends concert, which honors bands of yesteryear. This year we honored
and aren't there supposed to be fundraisers?
They're supposed to be fundraisers, absolutely, because it's a non-profit organization. What that takes is actually the people in the association to come together and have a fundraiser. I have never dictated any fundraiser besides for the Sounds of Love, which was to be beneficial for a musician in need. And you know what happened with that last year.
I do know what happened with that.
Exactly. Yeah. So because of that, the event didn't go on. Will it go on this year? I don't know. Maybe we won't have another fundraiser for one of our peers until someone's sick, God forbid, and they're in dire need.
You know, it was a fantastic idea. The execution of it was terrible. Plain and simple.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I think that was a double. I think it was a backhanded compliment, but Thanks anyway.
And then actually how you went about it.
But
was
listen, right?
unconscionable.
Even this is I heard
There's a
both of
time
you
and
sharing
place
the perspective
for
of not necessarily. Hold on, Sean, hold on.
everything.
Not wanting to get tit for tat, but this is why we publicly at that time extended invitation. It is there. Please touch base, and we can do it
Yeah,
the best
I'd
as we
love
can. I believe that the public has an interest in this for many reasons, not only the public funds. Eden, respectfully, leave us there for now. If you left the number, I will reach out to you in 23 minutes. Can
Thank
I
you,
pose a couple of questions that came through on our WhatsApp?
Absolutely.
To our WhatsApp listeners that sent through. It isn't that I'm ignoring, and didn't mean to give you sort of second bite, but here are a couple of questions. I'll put them together. I do apologize. You're hearing them now as I read them to you. Okay.
No, brother,
all right.
run it.
Why doesn't the CMEA have other revenue streams other than government grants? Now that was something that was asked and answered, but okay.
The CME doesn't have other revenue streams, obviously, because we don't have the manpower to facilitate not only the procurement of more funds, and this is something that is more recent.
Okay.
Every exec, I never tried to micromanage in my leadership of the CMEA. So every exec has the autonomy to go out there and solicit funds on behalf of the CMEA and to create events. But if you do not go out and do that, it's not a punishment for it. It's just something that we do without. So we do less.
All right.
But what we have gone out, but the monies that we do have, I have gone out, me personally, gone out and procured those. And I have procured those for specific events.
Okay.
So I can't take monies from those specific events to throw at another venture to try to raise additional funds.
Okay.
So it is incumbent upon all members, we're sailing the ship together. So if you're a sailor, you need to do your part.
All right, here's another question. It says, how many young musicians receive outreach funding / support on a monthly basis? And how much does the government give to this youth outreach program?
The government, the CMA doesn't have any monthly sponsored musicians. We never have in the history, in the 40-year history, and I've been the president for 12 years. We have never had any such outreach, even from the days of the Juveniles when we were recording artists in 1981. There was never any such thing. How much does the government put into this mentorship program? It's approximately, I think it's $30-something thousand that's gone into it. So what we've done for that is the musicians' airfare, accommodations, the people overseas to manage meeting and greeting them and taking them to 1500 Sound Academy, where they will be, they'll get a chance to expose not only themselves but some of their peers, music catalogs, to A&R reps, record company executives, and other producers who may possibly pick them up as a songwriter or as a producer or the like.
All right. Well, listen, as and when...
Is that all the questions?
On
WhatsApp?
That's those, yeah, man.
That was easy. Jeez. I thought Eden would never stop.
All right. Well, when and if this forum can be well, we have it there.
No, it's an important thing to have.
Yeah.
And I'm not certain if it should be a public forum, but I mean I can conduct myself fairly well. I mean, so I don't fear having any kind of. Listen, there's no final word in diplomacy. I've been saying this from the time I was 12 years old. I grew up in a band, and I was told there's no final word in diplomacy. And I, 18 years old, came across a speech, the utterances of Marcus Garvey, no final word in diplomacy. So I take that serious. So, I mean, I'm open to discussions. I can tell you that we resolved at the meeting, which was present with our council, Dr. Steve McFeel. The Minister for Health was there and Culture, Honorable Dwayne Seymour. Mr. Austin Harris was also there, giving his support and getting an overview of what's happening in the local music scene. We had recording artists, we had DJs, we had producers, songwriters, we had icon members, distinguished members, lifetime members, founding members. So it was a diverse cross-section of the Music Association. And we weren't there to call names on people and to get them bullied and to antagonize. No, we're trying to create a bridge to mediation. So all that name calling and stuff, it doesn't help in this exercise that we're hopefully going to be able to go down. If not, I think what's going to happen out of it is there may be no more music association because the General Register might feel it necessary to pull the NPO. And that would be unfortunate.
Why would they feel it necessary to pull it?
Because there's two factions who are claiming that they are rightfully elected to
but
the
if you
association.
if you have a constitution, right, you're registered as NPO, and there's this thing now, another entity can come up and be a competing entity, similar style and the like with other people. Two football leagues, two football associations.
In other words, they can go and get their own NPO.
Yeah.
But they can't be the Music and Entertainment Association.
But they can be the musicians
Absolutely.
and entertainers.
They can be the Musicians Guild.
Whatever it is,
They
right?
can be anything else they'd like to be, and that's
Right.
the whole thing. But they won't be the Music and Entertainment Association until the mediation is done. And according to the advice of Dr. Steve Matfield, we have ratified and changed our constitution, which is 38 years old and antiquated, which is kind of what led to this failed coup d'etat.
All right. So you were talking about a story. We'll pick it up whenever you're ready, right?
Anytime.
And respectfully to Mr. Eden and the others, the invitation is only, this is the public domain. Some hear, some pay attention, some take an interest. You know,
and I prefer, I didn't get a chance for 4 months to speak about what was really going on.
Yeah.
You might know how frustrating that was to read stuff on online and go.
It's like the sail at sea.
You know, it's like, for real, man.
Yeah.
That's how you're gonna be labeled. By the way, Mr. Matrix, Mikhail Campbell, has been paid his first place prize money. So there wasn't any improprietary things going on at the CMEA. The CMEA is intact. It's well. The only thing is it's sailing with a few sailors less. But it's trying to get to the destination so it can get some fresh sailors on board.
All right. Well, listen, like I said, it's here when needed, all right? Any closing words
Thank
you
you,
want?
sir. Heaven help us all. No, seriously. No, thanks for the opportunity, Dwayne. And I know we spoke about a lot of things, but I really had to get that out there, and I'm glad that we entertained hearing some of what the other side had to say as well, Hopefully some of those answers will appease questions that they've had. I don't know why those questions had to be asked, because they were privy to that information.
What's the lyrics about Mother? There's a natural mistake. Let's say you sing it better. There's a natural
There is a natural mistake.
Watch, enjoy your afternoon.
You're selector. You're the man select, man. The man selected the ending tune, man. Cue it up. I prefer Black My Story now. But run Mystic, man.
Play something by Dalmeen.
Yeah, you can play something from BD.
Right.
No.
All right. So you ready for me to leave now? Not yet. Talk some more. I can get paid to talk,
But like I was telling Eden, there's a time and place for everything.
Right.
And this is not the forum for it.
Listen to me. While we be conducive, because how are you feeling, if you follow instructions from those who are supposed to know? So if you see engineering standing, making sure things are rolling, right? Give me a couple more minutes of your time while we fill the time.
Absolutely, man. I mean,
on a different play.
I'm not gonna shortchange you, man.
No, man.
And you know something I want to get out there publicly, Dwayne?
Yeah.
Something that really upset me.
Talk to me.
Right? I see this woman, I don't even call her name, who got a local gossip column online, put out a thing about that.
But you realize when you identify somebody, but not identifying, you identify him, right?
No.
Okay.
I didn't say a word, listener, because I know better. But these people talk about me online and never ask me for a comment. And I don't understand what we're encouraging in our country, that we could have such unprofessional journalism going on, right? And people who giving journalism a bad name, and we're still encouraging it. One of the things that was said about me was I was a no-show. And nothing upsets me more than to be called a no-show, because in the entertainment business, that is a serious entitled to have. There's a singer from Jamaica, God rest his soul, rest in peace, Sugar Minot. And one of the things that he walked with as a label was Sugar Might Not Come. Because he had a tendency for being a no-show. And it ruined his career. One of the best singers ever. I have never been a no-show. Never, ever since I started singing professionally at the age of 11. So to call me a no-show really upset me. I wasn't a no-show to the illegal execs AGM. I wasn't invited.
Yeah.
And you can't have an AGM without inviting the president, without inviting the vice president, and without inviting the treasurer.
Let me. No, we are told we have some extra time given.
Sweet.
We're part and parcel of a team, right?
But let's come off of the topic.
Yeah.
Something else.
So I was going to ask you if we can keep it up if you want. Or
No.
we can go in a different direction.
Fair. It's not fair.
Right.
And I agree. I just had to get certain things off my chest.
Let's talk something easy, right? Because religion can be difficult. Let's talk politics.
All right. We want to talk. I tell you something else I didn't like. I didn't like to hear Mac. Somebody comparing Mac to Ted Bundy, the serial killer, on radio. I don't believe that's fair. And I'm not giving McKeever no right for, what transpired down at the beach place there. I don't really know. I'm leaving that up to the police investigation. But for me to be out there and to agree with somebody that Mac is as bad as Jeffrey as Ted Bundy, how you gonna put Mac in the same boat with Ted Bundy? You know who Ted Bundy is? You understand? It's wrong, man. And that's the kind of thing that we do to our own Caymanians. But we were talking about that, and I was saying that I believe absolute power corrupts, and we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Remember, so I could get back to that because it's on my mind.
Yeah, man, go ahead, man.
And I just want to clarify it, right? Yeah. I think that ultimately you can overstay your welcome.
Yeah.
I think every man has a fire, and that fire burns out. It burns out. You have to make sure that we, as society, we have to make sure we kindle that fire and use it positively while it's blazing.
All right. Well, let me ask you. Not only the fire can burn out, right?
Yeah.
What's that? Is it the country song? Embers, burning embers, or whatever. Come back. All right. It'll come back. I like what country songs are.
Lyrics.
Yeah, man. What you say? I might be a sing like but still.
Give it to me.
But there is also a thing, right? And just say every man has a breaking point here. There's a point at which when you push him, he will, let sleeping dogs lie, right? You get your back against the wall and you come out. Is this society and this people at a point where they're like, enough is enough?
I think we're getting there. That's how I feel like right now.
Yeah. So, okay, with that in mind, right, I'm asking this because there is, if there is, as some have suggested, this hand at work to destabilize the society, create what has seemingly transpired in every society that has led to this downfall, this destabilization, right? I would like, you talked about unity, Mr. Shadat talked about unity. I'd like to see this 1,000+ nationalities that exist there, this economic disparity that may be evident. If Mr. Shadat don't mind me saying, he used words like poor, people in lower class and what have you, right? So we've ascribed labels, we've accepted labels, we've even seen differences in ethnicity and skin color. What Bob Marley said, not until the color of a man's skin is no important color of his eyes.
Haile Selassie said that.
Right? Yeah, but quote, okay. So you read from your script, right?
No, it's true.
Yeah.
You have to credit the thing or else that was plagiarism.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the great Bob Marley plagiarized that, but it's all right.
Thank you for correcting me. When we look at this small community and we see posturing and pontificating by so many people in order to get a position, right? Because for a short time, they're elevated. They may be monetized. They may be somehow celebrated. But if the people no longer can call this place home and paradise, right? Do you realize that we all lose? The gated community has no value.
It makes no sense. Are you telling me?
Okay.
We need to tell this to them people that building them big houses because you're not safe nowhere. Listen. The Bible admonished us and told us, be careful how we entertain strangers. It said so.
But it said because angels may dwell amongst them.
Yes, but
Also.
it doesn't. Listen, but it's not really just alerting you to the fact that angels may hide among the strangers. It's also telling you to be careful of strangers. So you can't separate the plums and leave the duff.
Yeah.
You got to take the whole statement.
Remember what you said? Be careful, little eyes. Be careful, little hands, little ears.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. This is why.
But all I'm saying, right? Just if I can establish that point, right? For sure, right?
Yes.
I just feel like
I
just feel like we are so trusting of people we don't know, and so skeptical and wary and suspicious of people that we do know. You know, and this is what Jesus came to talk about. He said, "How can you not love your neighbor that you can see, but then claim that you love God that you can't see?" So, you see where I'm coming from? And that's what it's about. That's why I told you before that I don't call people names. I try my best to stay away from that, because to me, when you label somebody, it's just black and white. And people are more gray, you know? Like they have mood swings. And so you can't really just outright say that somebody is that thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And so I hope that explains it, you know?
Gotcha.
I just think we should tread more lightly with each other, and I'm hoping and praying that that transcends to me as well.
Perfect. I thought you were saying, what's that song? How can you
sit there and let the children cry?
I finally get it to give me a lyric. Why I
Never in this world, my dear, so much war and fear. Love is gonna come our way, and soon, oh yeah.
You imagine if you were handsome
That's
now?
it, man.
You'd be doing wrestling.
Imagine if I was good looking.
Notch.
That boy, you think about this, Virginia?
Thank you for your time,
I
man.
love you, man.
Bro.
It's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? All this hyping up. Like I told them, listen, if they want a music association, they can have it, because they're not carrying it with them, and they're not carrying it with me. You understand?
Right.
I actually, you know what's so ironic, so funny, man, is that I believe in term limits, right?
Yeah.
So I was always saying to myself, I was saying to myself, 10 years, I can't wait to get out of this. 10, 11 years, I can't wait to get out of this. But now, I'm saying to myself, I definitely can't make that brother get it, because he gonna ruin it all.
All right, let me show you something, right? You see, we only were as good until we were no longer needed. They fixed what they need to fix, so they need us to stop talking.
They need us to get out. I'm down, man.
All right, thank you for your company. Thank you all for listening.
Real life story. Listen up while I shut down Babylon. Black my story. Don't try to stop me. 500 years under colonial plan. Emancipation, liberation, truth.